across the plains. Hope rekindles in the crimson tide, as freedom's anthem calls our names. Great again, we rise as one, under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day. Fields of dreams are ripe once more. Factories hum with honest pride. Our banner waves on every shore, with courage marching by our side. Great again, we rise as one, under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day. Through trials dark, we found our steel. The eagle's cry breaks through the night. In unity, our wounds now heal. We chase the dawn with fearless light. Great again, we rise as one, under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day.
Hey, how's everybody doing? How you doing, Dr. Jade?
I'm doing okay. How you doing today, Rich?
All right. How was your week? Hey, Pam.
You know, not too bad. I'm glad it's Friday.
Cool. Commander, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a while. You're busy. What's up, Chris? Always good to see you, brother. So let's see. We got
lots.
lot of stuff. Yeah, we got
lots.
there's every week, man. It's like there's a lot of stuff to go over. There's some good stuff. I got a feel-good story of the week. Jade? No. Anyway, how's everybody doing? You guys have a good week?
Yeah, let us know. Hope everybody's had a good week.
Thanks, Pam. Yeah, I just added the metal because I had some objects that I had created a while ago that I never used. So I figured, what the hell? So I created a song.
You had me doing air guitar here for a minute.
Yeah. And no, the drummer does not beat to the music, but I don't care. I did that on Sura this afternoon. So hey, what's up, Paka? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Good to see everybody.
So,
yeah, so I'm gonna go over. We'll just do like we always do. I'm going to present the top stories, and then.
But it just doesn't stop, does it?
No, it's just like it's crazy, man. So the top stories: Trump astride at 7 months. It's actually pretty good stuff. Winning. It is a warning. Trump clears the way to deport more than 250,000 Venezuelans, and those Venezuelans. Remember when Trump said they came here from the asylums and the prisons? They did, and they were trained in what to do by the Venezuelan military and government. They came here to sow chaos in the United States, and Trump's getting rid of them. Obama appointed judge does the unthinkable. Is he trying to get Trump killed? That's an interesting story. I think yes. I really do. I think yes. David Axelrod, who was Obama's political hitman, and he was the guy that got him elected twice. So he's now begging the Democrats to accept Trump's offer to help in cities to get the crime down. And I just wrote, they won't listen to him because we know they won't.
No, but that's good that they won't listen, because if they start looking like they're, willing to cooperate and be reasonable, they'll get more votes. I don't want to get more votes.
And you're absolutely right. But you know why they won't? Because they, like I said before,
well, they can't. Can't.
I can't remember the term, but all throughout, there was a study done all throughout history with political parties. When one is dying out because they ran out of ideas and they got lazy, when one is dying out, they always, for some reason, they leave the base alone because they figure, they're not going to lead, and they go for the fringes, no matter right, left, up, down, whatever they are. They go for the fringes to bring them in because they think, well, we can't get more normies in, so we got to go for the freaks, right? So they bring them in, and the more freaks, the woke, if you will, they're the freaks. The more you bring them in, the more that the normies leave, and that's where they're at. And so they can't, you're right. They can't. They have to trash Trump because that's all they got.
For whatever reason,
hey, two drums, what's up?
A third of this country votes Republican, period.
Yeah.
A third of this country votes Democrat, period. And a third of the country is in the middle, kind of independent, can go either way.
Oh, yeah.
And
40, what's up, 40? I'm sorry, Jade. What's up, 40? Good to see you, man.
So if you're a political party, that's who you're aiming for. Is you're aiming for that 1/3 in the middle that you can influence.
Yeah.
Although the Democrats are even losing some of their 1/3.
Oh, they're losing everybody right now. I'll tell you, we got another story about a blue state that's turning red right now, and you'll never guess which state. What's up? This is my biological sister, everybody. Say hi to Carrie Ann. What's up, sis?
Hi, Carrie Ann. I know what state. I bet you I know what state.
Go ahead, say it.
New Mexico.
Yeah. It's New Mexico, guys. We are out registering them. Republicans are out registering Democrats in New Mexico, of all states. New Mexico.
I haven't seen anybody predict that it's going to go red.
I did.
In 2028.
Dr. Steve Turley said that he got all the inside numbers. Plus, you could just talk to Scott Pressler, and I think he believes it's going to go as well because we're out registering. And if we out register, that means the midterms are going to be nice. So we're out registering, and it's a double whammy. While Republicans are out registering Democrats, even in many blue states, right? But while Republicans are doing that, the Democrats are just leaving their party. So and many of them obviously are flooding away from blue states for the freedom of red states. It's going to be a hell of a midterm. Now,
I don't. Wasn't there somebody else that just I didn't get to read the article. Somebody else just defected.
There's a lot of people that did, but I don't know which one you're talking about. But there's a lot that are coming over. Yeah, well, there really are. I mean, there's some that you wouldn't think.
Yeah, the headline was a bit of a clickbait. It didn't say who, but it said another
lefty's coming to the right.
Another Dem.
Yeah. Here we go. Bomb.
I can't see it right now.
Bombshell. Internal emails reveal Joe Biden did not review thousands of pardons granted in the final days of his presidency. Do you know who that includes, Jade? Who do you think that includes?
Adam Schiff. It includes, what's her name there?
Liz Cheney. Little Adam Kinzinger. It includes him.
It includes Fauci.
Fauci. All of them.
Yeah, the only one, and
cancer's doing better.
Yeah, I've heard the only one that people actually saw him sign was for Hunter.
I heard that too, but now they're saying no, they had a and I think people said that because they saw, like, he didn't sign it. He held it, but he didn't sign it. It was already signed. Or he didn't sign it because there's a second signature on there that's not the auto pen. Well, guess what? Now they found out there's 3 auto pens with his signature, and they're all slightly different. So maybe someone didn't see the original. Oh, yeah, well, he signed that because that's his signature. It's not the auto pen. That bullshit. So let's see. I guess they like the crime in D.C. Attorney General sues Trump administration, the D.C. Attorney General sues the Trump administration over National Guard deployment.
Yeah, but Muriel Bowser
Right.
Was just on.
But Jade, she had to say that to keep her miserable job. And the woke of the party, they can't give Trump credit for anything, which is kind of like a counter to what our feel-good story of the week is going to be. Go ahead.
No, she's a lifelong solid Democrat. She got on there and thanked Trump for the help.
Well, it was kind of a roller coaster journey, wasn't it? At first, she said, "Yeah, we don't mind them coming in. We'd help with," and then the party got to her and said, "He's an authoritarian," And now she's like, "Oh yeah, we want to thank him," because she had to, because the stats came out. So she read the stats as if she's the one that compiled them, right?
Well,
but that's what they do.
Not only that, there's a bunch of people on the street, men on the street interviews, and everybody's going, "Yeah, this is great, man. I can actually walk around. It's dark, it's after sundown, and I'm walking around here, and I'm not worried."
Yeah, people were saying that. Yeah, they were all saying it, and he's saying now, he said we'll have Chicago fixed in hours, and I believe him, because apparently, that's another story. The Department of War, instead of the Pentagon, is getting ready to actually go in there. Not just, because there's some federal buildings in there and whatnot, but the National Guard, they're very geared with federal agents, in other words, FBI and whatnot, to go into Chicago and just take it over. Yeah, they'll stay for a couple weeks and then they'll get the hell out.
You know how careful they got to be with that one. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, see, the way Trump's getting away with that, because they're saying you can't send National Guards anywhere. Well, he can send any National Guard he wants to DC because it's not a state, it's a district. You got to explain that to these dipshit Democrats. Okay, they don't understand that. They want to make it a state.
I'm talking Chicago.
Yeah, but Chicago as well. I was saying the way he's getting around that is he's sending National Guard from their state.
Yeah, if you
can't argue with that.
If you take over the state's National Guard, then you've got.
He has the right. He has the right to do it. He's the commander in chief. Has the right to do it.
I don't know.
That's why they're called National Guard. Yeah. A lot of people don't understand it. They're called National Guard for a reason. They're assigned to states, but he can call. This is why National Guard troops were called into Vietnam and other wars.
Yeah, I think Texas is the only state that has something separate. It's State Guard. It has nothing to do, and basically they call it the Texas Army because it is not answerable to the president.
Texas is the only state that maintains the right to secede if they want to, because they said we're not joining unless we have that right. And they went, okay.
And they wanted to maintain their own army, and they did.
Right. And also, here's a little trivia question for people. Okay. So it was the Texas Rangers. Okay. Before they were a state, their special police were called the Texas Rangers. When they became a state, they changed them over to the Texas Marshals. Okay. There was a band of Texas Rangers that did not want to become marshals. All right. They wanted to remain as Rangers, but they couldn't use the name Rangers because they made it illegal. They came up with their own name. And the name actually symbolized what they were going after, which was cattle rustlers. Because cattle rustling was the biggest crime you could do because it hit people in so many ways: livelihood, food, clothing, shelter, all that shit, right? Medicine. And so they got a name that basically said, this is what your punishment will be, and there will be no trial. What do you know what the name was? It was a great name. They called these guys, they were former Texas Marshals. They called it the Uplift Society, meaning they're going to hang your ass if you get caught cattle rustling. The Uplift Society. Well, I thought that was badass when I read it.
Cattle rustling and horse thievery. The problem about those, we think of them today in our modern logic, and we say, well, those are property crimes. There shouldn't be capital crimes, except
it could cause your life.
That the problem was that was worth the life of you and your family. If you lost your horse or horses, or if you lost your cattle, you would need, you would starve.
Oh yeah.
There was no insurance claim.
They use horses in those days as well to help on the farm.
Yeah. I mean,
Pull
without
plows, just pull wood,
Yeah.
pull anything that they couldn't pull.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
or just going to get supplies. Look,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you couldn't ride out and herd your cattle,
Right.
you know. So horse thievery and
Did
cattle
you know that
rustling.
in Philadelphia, there's still a city ordinance that says that you may not herd your cattle down Broad Street.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
They haven't done that in 100 years. Anyway, let's move on. So winning poll shows Trump enjoying the highest approval ratings yet. Then this is fantastic. Kennedy, RFK, turns the tables on Democrats. I don't know if you guys heard about this in fiery hearing on the CDC and vaccines. And then after that, because the Democrats, they wanted to trash him so bad because he is revealing what they did with those vaccines and how they lied, how they made promises they knew were not going to be kept. And then J.D. Vance blasts those senators saying, you're full of shit. Yeah. You know, you don't like to hear a vice president curse, but for him, I don't care. He's full MAGA, and he's actually a brilliant guy, too. And I think he's going to be a great replacement for Trump when Trump's out. But I got another story for you that you're going to like, probably. All right, so Jasmine Crockett's record this year suggests she's the conspiracy theorist she denies being. Then Trump actually said this. Trump tells Supreme Court he'll appeal batshit insane E. Jean Carroll case. It was 84 million, and she ain't getting a penny. Not a penny.
He said that on that day. He said right away.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, but she's not getting a penny.
He's not getting a penny. So here you go. Breaking. Trump to sign executive order to rename the Pentagon the Department of War on Friday. Now, why do you think that is? Well, it's another punch in the face to the lefties.
Because he can, you know.
Yes, because it was originally called the Department of War. I mean, the founding fathers, when they first got in, George Washington, the Department of War, then they just cut it down to War Department, but it was always officially called the Department of War. The libnuts, they changed it to the Pentagon because they didn't want to seem all war-y. So they changed it to the lovely name of the Pentagon, and he says, screw that, it's the War Department. Just like Gulf of America. I gotta love this guy.
No,
here's the fire hose.
It's kind of like it's kind of like I go to the gym, I go to martial arts classes, okay? And so this guy who's teaching, he says he was teaching a class one day and a new guy was there and he's from Boulder. Okay?
Right.
So already, you know, palm to forehead. So he teaches some maneuver, and the new guy, he didn't mind. Okay, we're going to get out and then we're going to hit him. And the new guy says, well, what can I do? I don't want to hurt somebody. What can I do without hitting him? And again, the instructor, he kind of goes, well, what do you think you'd want to do? He says, well, what I'd do is I'd get out and I'd give him a hug. And the instructor says, you mean you'd like hold on to him so he can't do anything? No. Yeah. He says, I'll give him a hug and tell him everything's going to be okay. So Nate, my instructor, he says, I'm not sure this is a class for you.
The Department of Peace is responsible for war. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's hearkening back to 1984, which describes our whole
philosophy. Well, hey, what's up, Louie? Good to see you.
Past 4 years.
Cyber bully. Really. What's up, man? Good to see you too. Yeah. Well, I just squirreled myself. I forgot what I was going to say. So you were, what did you say? What was what you just said?
Yeah, I was talking about 1984. Our whole past 4 years has been 1984. You know, right. The whole slavery is freedom.
Yeah.
You know, war is peace.
Right. Well, Reagan always he was the one that said prepare, like trust but verify and all that. But he said, you prepare for you have peace by preparing for war. No,
that's an ancient Latin saying.
I know, but but the libnuts don't know that. But yeah, there. What was the piece? What was it called? Damn it! There was not Sun Tzu. There was something. There was another one that went around about that. That in order to prepare for peace, you must get ready for war.
Yeah,
because hey, what's up, Ludwig?
That goes back to Roman times.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Oh, professor today. You were a doctor now. What's up, Chris? Good to see you. Let's see. Who else is here? Anybody else here that I missed? I think I got everybody. Yeah. So, what the hell was it? It was something that somebody said that was really. So, oh yeah. It was about the bald eagle. Why they chose the bald eagle, the founders for the national bird, because a bald eagle. This is the projection they wanted to give for the new country. A bald eagle will try to avoid a fight. He's not a coward, but he'll fly away. But if he is cornered and you don't stop, he'll fuck you up. And there was one we saw where there was a bird that was flying down and went into a bald eagle's nest and was trying to get the babies or the eggs, whatever. And the mother just landed on the side and went, and the bird was no more. It was so quickly, and you're like, holy mackerel. And that bird was just mincemeat. It was such a fast thing, and it was done. And then the mother flew off again, knowing that the babies were fine.
And it's an
What's
interesting. It's an interesting factoid as well. A bird that really, really hates bald eagles.
What's that?
The great horned owl.
Okay.
They destroy bald eagles.
Look at this clown. All right, Nelson, what do you got here? Let's see. Many conservatives don't want the Epstein files to be released anymore because they worship an out on bail felon who was found liable for sexual abuse, and he doesn't want them to be released. Oh my God. Did you come up with that all by yourself?
Yeah, not
another
like
horrible jobs report released. Yeah, we're going to go over that today too. The jobs report, because the lib nuts.
Not like any of that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hang on. Not like any of that was debunked.
Right.
And let me state the obvious. If there was anything incriminating, you think that the Biden administration that had a hold of those files for 4 years wouldn't have released it?
Well, do you know that they released documents they classified documents on the Biden administration on the jobs reports. Okay, they classified documents so they couldn't look at it, right? So the press couldn't get it. And I forget who it was. It wasn't Tulsi, whoever the labor person is. I don't know who that's one of those jobs that you don't pay attention to. So the leader, but the secretary. But they just released them. They had them declassified and they released them. And remember that 8 million job bullshit. They lied. They lied nearly every month. They lied. They not only did what Obama did, which was to use the U6 instead of the U2. The U2 is true unemployment. The U6 is bullshit because they stopped counting people if they've been unemployed for 2 years. And we're talking people who still can't get a job after 2 years, and it makes the number go down. And he did that right before the 2012 election, right? Because the word went out, no president has been reelected with an 8% or higher unemployment. Obama had 8.4. And all of a sudden, magically, he has 7.8 because they used the U6 instead. And Biden screwed up. Now, here's the thing. Let me go on. Let me hold this story off. And I'm going to go with another one that we have here, because now that we're on the topic.
Yeah.
Now that Nelson brought it up. So let's see.
Have you heated Nelson yet?
No, I haven't pulled him. I will. He keeps his shit up, and I will. He keeps trying, though. You got to give it to him, though. But the jobs report. So I can't find it, but I can talk about it real quick. So the jobs report came out, and it was like 22,000 jobs, and it wasn't exactly what they thought it would be. And my answer to that is several fold. Personally, well, not personally, I'm going to say, don't quote me on this because it's a little bit conspiracy. But knowing Trump, he did it on purpose. He somehow finagled it to make it low. And the reason why is it's an ad or it's an article that the Post put out, the New York Post. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. Interest. Yeah. No, that wasn't it. Yeah, it was the very goddamn, it's the top one. So let me bring it up. Yeah, it was the New York Post brought it out. It said, August jobs report sorely misses forecast, and it did. Bolstering interest rate hopes. What has Trump been trying to do? He's been trying to get Jerome Powell to lower rates. And Jerome Powell is a Trump hater, and he will not lower rates. And here's what's going on. Trump so far has brought, maybe more by now, but the last I read, he's brought in $13 trillion of of real money or promises from companies that are coming in. Like, for example, the largest chip manufacturer in Taiwan is saying, fuck the Chinese, the Chi-Coms, we're going to go to America, right? Like, was it $600 billion they're going to invest? And so he's bringing all this money in, and Trump wants, with every company that's built, there's a shit ton of smaller companies that are going to be built because of that, servicing it, parts, all that stuff, right? And Trump wants to lower rates right now because then the economic boom will be like no ever before, okay? And Powell doesn't want to do it because it would make Trump look good, right?
Yeah, but you know when he did do it? In October. Last year.
Right. But here's the thing. Ready? So what's going on is, you know, this, I think her name's Lisa Cooks. Okay. I think that's her name. She's on the board of Cook. She's the board of governors, right? And Trump wants to get rid of Powell. Now he can fire him, but there's nobody, the rules are to become the chairman of the Fed, the Federal Reserve, you have to be a board of governors member already. Okay. So there's no one else on the board that he wants to put up there because none of them are America first. They're all globalists, right? So Trump has someone in mind that he wants to put on as a governor. So he's getting rid of Cook because she's a criminal. Like the rest of the Democrats these days, she got caught for mortgage fraud. She had 2 houses in different states and claimed both houses were going to be her permanent residence to get a lower rate. You can't do that.
We're up to 3.
She's on the freaking board of governors of the Federal Reserve and fucked with interest rates.
We're up to 3 houses now, by the way.
Oh, is it 3 now? Great. Mazel tov.
And
so
the interesting thing is, and I don't know if you caught up to this, but there's actually a vacancy on the board of governors right now.
I didn't know that. But what Trump, I don't know about that because what Trump wants to do is, the plan was get rid of Cook because she's a criminal. Okay. Her name should be Crook. And then turn around, and he wants to put his own person on the board and then nominate that person to replace the fired Jerome Powell and bring a second MAGA person in. That's what he wants to do.
And I think right now the balance is
What's up, Gina?
6-3 in favor of Democrats on the board. There's one unseated chair, and he wants to get rid of Cook and fill that spot and the vacant one. That'll bring him up to 4.
See, I don't know why he doesn't put his person on now then if there is a vacant spot
It's
to replace
timing.
Powell.
Timing, Rich. Timing.
Yeah, well, yeah, but he wants to get him up there because he wants the rates lowered.
Yeah.
And he should lower rates right now. But that's why I'm saying that maybe they finagled the numbers to force Powell to lower rates.
Yeah, because if he doesn't have to clash head-to-head with Powell in some sort of contest in which he's absolutely guaranteed his desired outcome, he's going to avoid that. So Powell is about to be timed out. He's about to go.
Well, he's got 10 years, and I don't know how many he's got in already.
I think it's like November or October even. I think he's about to go.
Okay, well then maybe that's why Trump's waiting. But I wouldn't wait. I'd get him the hell out.
I think he's trying to avoid a knockdown, drag out. This is all to do with timing.
Well, this is true, but you know what else? There's another way to think of that. Trump went 16-0 with the Supreme Court in only 4 months' time. Okay, and the left,
you know why that is?
The Supreme Court is kissing his ass. That's why. No, it's not that at all. The Supreme Court is agreeing with Trump that the things he tried to do, that the libnuts are filing in court against him, the judges, the rogue district judges, are all legitimate authority of Article 2. Okay, he has the right to do them, but no other president had the balls or the brains to do it, all right, to help the country. And so Trump says, screw that, we're going to go to court. We'll go all the way to the Supreme, and the Supreme Court saying, yes, Mr. President, the president does have the authority. So 16-0 times they agree with him.
And again, that's exactly what I was just talking about. Timing and substance, because he brought the court cases to the Supreme Court that he knew he had in the bag.
Yep.
He knew that this is the way it is, and there was really nothing the Supreme Court could do. And that's why. Now, just as an aside, I found the the Latin saying that we usually hear is "Si vis pacem para bellum," and that basically means if you want peace, prepare for war. It comes from the works of the Roman author.
Should I do a Dr. Jade moment?
Wait, you want to do that? Sure.
Let's do a Dr. Jade moment. Are you prepared?
Are we ready?
Are you prepared? All right, you ready? Here we go.
It's a Dr. Jade moment.
Let me play it again because I screwed it up. I had Louis' thing up there. Hold on. Let me play it one more time.
It's a Dr. Jade moment.
That's a lot better than the first one we did.
There you go.
A lot
All right.
better. All right, go ahead.
Share my screen.
Okay, you got it up there? There you go. All right.
So,
bring it up. Bring it up so people can read. There you go. You got it. All yours.
So, history and geography, I don't know if you guys have noticed, I have an interest in, and people like Sun Tzu and similar, those guys are great. And
oh yeah.
If you've never read The Art of War, you need to. You do. Yeah. So I just looked it up because I had forgotten the exact working. Si vis pacem para bellum. Basically, if you want peace, prepare for war. And this comes out of Rome. The Roman author Publius Flavius Vegetius Renatus. I probably ruined that, but I don't speak Latin, so bite my round pink ass. So the actual phrase, here it is. The actual phrase that he wrote.
Sorry, Lou, but I kept it up there and we couldn't see the whole thing. So go ahead.
Yeah, the actual phrase that he wrote was "Igitur qui desiderat pacem preparat bellum." Therefore, let him who desires
for
peace
you to say.
For.
Right now, the only 42 sent me an image in Belfast, and there it is. Prepared for war, prepared for peace, ready for war. There it is. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Hey, Spanish chicken. What's up, brother? Collapse from within. Fabian Society collapse from within. So
okay. Well, cool. That was a spontaneous moment. We'll save everything else for next week.
It's a Dr. Jade spontaneous moment. I'll have to create another one.
Well, it's like I keep saying, I don't tell Rich what I'm going to talk about in advance. Well, this time I didn't even tell myself. So
there you go. Yeah, she never tells me in advance because she's afraid I'll say, I want to do that instead. All right, let's see. What's the next? A stride for the next 7 months. Here we go. So American greatness. Trump astride at 7 months. 7 months in, Trump has curbed illegal immigration, steadied the economy, and scored foreign policy wins while Democrats flounder without a counter agenda. It's by Victor Davis Hanson, who I really like. He put it out yesterday. Trump's greatest achievement within 6 months, let's go back up, was simply ending illegal immigration as we had once known it, without comprehensive immigration reform or any other rhetorical trickery. That's what they always say. We have to have comprehensive. There's nothing comprehensive about it. You wanted open borders, and we wanted a country.
And you know what Trump said about it?
What's
he says,
that?
Well, I guess we didn't need new laws. We just needed a new president.
He did say that, and he said that in front of Biden and Kamala.
Yep. He said, "Oh, wait a minute. I think he said we didn't," because they kept saying, "Oh, we need a bill to deal with this." And he said,
he kept saying that.
Yeah, and so he says, "I guess we didn't need a new bill. We just needed a new president."
And he's exactly right, because everybody kept pointing when Biden kept saying, "Well, we just need the Congress to act. We can't do anything." Well, then how the hell did Trump do it? Because he already had the authority to do it. It remains difficult to find, much less deport, the 10 to 12 million, I think it's up to 20, illegal aliens who entered in the last 4 years.
No, that's just the last 4 years. It's 20 or 30 that are.
Well, there's about 40 illegals in the country they're admitting to. They always say 11, the libnuts, because it's never changed. Like I always say, they said 11, what, in 1994? It's like they think that for every illegal that crosses into the country, an equal illegal leaves the country.
Yeah.
That's the only way these whack jobs can justify that. But
Yeah,
I think it's up to 20, actually. I think it is.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I heard 20. I heard 20.
Yeah, I think it's it's 20 that came in 4 years. That's what I. Oh yeah, I think it's over 30 million that are here. Look. If they say that close to 1 million each year came in, go from 94 to now. That's what, 21 years? Or is it? No, it's 30. 90, 110. Yeah, 30. 31 years. So do the math there. Better math than I have, obviously. My Catholic school math failed me today. But think about that. If that many came in every single year, well, then how many is it? It's about 30 million or more. It has to.
Well, the point is we don't know.
We don't know. And you know how we could find out? When they wanted to count them on the census, they all signed up. They all agreed, and they all went and answered the questions and whatnot. So anyway, those who helped break the law by design or indifference now believe it was moral to destroy federal immigration law, but immoral to uphold it. That's because they're nuts. And it is still unclear whether Joe Biden's handlers, I love how they do that, his handlers, because he had warm diarrhea brains, how Joe Biden's handlers deliberately sabotage their own border for political and demographic purposes out of sheer orneriness.
That's easy for you to say.
I know, or utter incompetence. Many of the left's cherished totems, massive Green New Deal subsidies, the diversity, equity, inclusion industry, biological males competing in women's sports, and the USAID revolving door are either comatose or in their death throes thanks to Trump. The historic drop-off in military recruitment reversed shortly after Trump took office. And now they've met all their quotas. They met them by June, halfway through the year. They met them all, and now they're going over, which is good. Republican voter registration is up. In fact, we're taking over. We're taking over on a lot of states. And Democratic registration is down. They're leaving. Abroad, Trump finds remarkable successes. For now, there are pauses in the fighting between India and Pakistan, which is good because they're both nuclear countries. And one of them is crazy. Egypt and Somalia, Cambodia and Thailand, Rwanda and Congo, Serbia and Kosovo and Armenia, and Azerbaijan, whatever that is.
Azerbaijan.
There you go. Much credit is due to Trump for brokering these ceasefires. In fact, I think he was nominated for 4 Nobel Peace Prize. He won't get one. They won't give it to him. Iran will not get a bomb in the next 4 years, as seemed likely when Biden left office. Think about it. Obama delivered billions of dollars cash on pallets in the middle of the night from a plane like Pablo Escobar. The Middle East's current, and then Biden allows them to take money back that we had seized when they were just on the cusp. When Trump left office, they were on the cusp of losing their government because they had no money, right? They were on the cusp of having real elections because the people didn't want them anymore because they couldn't do anything. The Middle East's current most grotesque terrorist caters and states, Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis, are far weaker than they were when Trump entered office in January. And you think about this, guys. This is why people are leaving in droves the Democratic Party, because Trump, like they all say, we're trying to do it. Those damn Republicans, and the Republicans weren't even in power the last few years. But it turns out that Trump says, hold my beer. I know he doesn't drink alcohol, but hold my beer. And he goes and does it. It makes it look so easy, because it was easy. The Democrats lied to you. They didn't want to do it. There was at least some engagement in envisioning the outlines of a ceasefire in Trump's inherited Ukraine war. The rub is finding the degree of ordnance necessary to convince Putin that increasing Russia's casualties to more than 1 million will endanger his own dictatorship sooner than destroy Ukraine. Breaking up the new 3 billion person China-India-Russia nexus hinges on ending the war. The economy is still strong. Gas prices are at historic lows. Increases in all types. Are you getting this, Nelson? Gas prices are at historic lows. Increases in all types of energy production precede full bore. Current GDP, inflation, unemployment, and the stock market, all at one time or another said to be in a crisis state, remains strong. Talk of an impending recession or hyperflation is mostly muted. That was the lib nuts anyway. No one quite knows either the full effects of Trump's tariffs, especially given the injunctions issued by left-wing district justices, or of the promised over $10 trillion in foreign investments. I think it's 13 now. Much of Trump's agenda will hinge on whether interest rates are lowered, Republicans survive the midterms, which I think they will, and the degree to which unelected left-wing lower court justices can be stopped from hijacking the Constitution and de facto running the country. As the Democrat opposition, and the Supreme Court saw to that, by the way, as for the Democrat opposition, there is no counter agenda, no shadow government responsible leadership, and no willingness to craft bipartisan legislation. All they are is Trump sucks. Trump is an authoritarian. Trump's a dictator. He's Hitler. That's all they have. Instead, the left strategy is that of the kamikaze, to destroy Trump. There you go. At the cost of destroying the Democratic Party. Otherwise, Democrats seek to prove so obnoxious in demonizing Trump that they create such mass hysteria that the weary electorate figuratively lies down, closes its eyes, covers its ears, and screams nonstop, make them all go away. Former foul-mouthed vice presidential candidate Tim Walz is now reduced to a ghoulish status. He recently boasted to an audience that rumors of Trump's death, who survived 2 assassination attempts last summer, and let me add in, children were just shot and murdered in church in his state the week prior, will thankfully one day prove true. The top of the failed ticket, Kamala Harris, wanders aimlessly without an office, constituency, or audience, or any ideas. Think about that. To remain viable, she knows she must continue touring and speaking. But Harris accepts that the more anyone hears her word salads, the more they will remember her 2024 train wreck of a campaign. Head of the Democratic Party, Ken Martin, did anybody know his name? I didn't. Now screams that Trump is a fascist. Yeah. And Joe Biden, who forced corporations to censor people because the First Amendment didn't allow him, was not a fascist. He was saving democracy. By what standards does he judge? Did Trump try to take his rivals off state ballots? Exactly. You remember Colorado did that, but it was the Biden administration that talked them all into doing it. We now know that because we saw a video of them entering the White House. The people like we saw what was his name? The guy that was the lover, not husband of Fani Willis down in Atlanta. Well, he was seen going into the White House at the time that they were going after Trump. Every one of them was. They all were there. Letitia James was in there. Does he advocate for destroying the filibuster, the Electoral College, and the 156-year-old 9-justice Supreme Court, or packing the Senate by admitting 2 new states? He's exactly right. Our local, state, and federal prosecutors, a la Bragg, James Smith, and Willis, coordinating with the White House and DOJ. What I just said. I swear I didn't read this. To indict Trump's current chief adversaries, such as Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, or Josh Shapiro, who was my shithead governor. Did Trumpers hire a foreign spy to concoct a fake hit dossier on Democrat grandees? Are his subordinates now spreading it to the media? Are 51 conservative former CIA contractors and retired spooks swearing that Newsom or Harris is working with the Russians, Chinese, or any other enemies? The greatest Democrat fear? That is so institutionalized excessive executive orders, ad hominem lawfare, lower court usurpation, state nullification of federal law, which you can't do, and because of the supremacy clause, and federal intervention in higher education, the energy industry, and the nation's open spaces, that their own legacies empowered Trump and now will boomerang upon themselves as the public applauds the karma. You gotta love it, man.
Yes, but if a Democrat falls in the world, if a Democrat falls in the woods, how is it Trump's fault?
Well, it just always is. It's always Trump's fault. You know that. Come on.
And the one thing about these people, no, they're not nuts. They admit all these people for one reason, and you know it better than I do.
Yeah.
You'd think that if they thought that these illegal immigrants were going to vote Republican, how fast do you think they'd be pushing them into the ocean?
Yeah.
you know, and you know, you hear a lot of noise about having new states in term. What's the matter?
My screen just like
Oh,
stopped.
you know, you hear a lot of noise about DC and Puerto Rico becoming new states. Betcha they're not going to say anything about Alberta becoming a new state.
Yeah.
You know why? You know why? Because
Yeah.
Alberta's likely to vote conservative.
Oh, yeah. Alberta is. Yeah. They got the oil too.
Yeah. So, but you won't hear any Democrats calling for Alberta to be a 51st state.
Now, and if they do, and once they do, all right, which there it's them, Saskatchewan. Who was the other one you were talking about today behind the scenes?
Yukon.
Yeah. They're all talking about it, joining forces and becoming a state. That's what they want.
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
Well, I'll tell you what I would prefer to see, honestly.
Territory.
I would like them to see them become like, it's Northwest Territories. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
yeah. It's the Northwest Territories. Is it Northwest Territories or the Yukon that has? I think it's the Yukon that has said they're
ready. They're just so pissed off at the
I honestly, Special K, I really don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to happen, but
I don't know.
It'll be interesting. They're not going to become a state, but they could become a territory.
Well, what I do know that the relationship between the Western provinces and Ottawa is already changed completely.
How so? Explain.
Because they've dug their heels in and they've said no more.
Yeah, Ottawa. Oh, okay, good. You went that way because that's correct. I think Ottawa ignored them for decades.
But not only ignored them, they provinces of Alberta and Saskatchewan by themselves are responsible for more than a third of the Canadian GDP. Okay?
Yes. Yeah, from the oil.
They've got oil, they've got minerals, and they've got the farming, the wheat coming out of Saskatchewan.
Yep.
And already, at the very least, they've dug their heels in and they've told Ottawa, we're not going to continue on the same basis. Now, how far that goes, nobody's sure right now. What I personally would think would be the best, and they're also talking about bringing in Manitoba on this.
Yeah.
Why can't I remember whether it was the Yukon or the Northwest Territory? I think it might have been the Yukon.
Natural gas.
One of them. Anyway, if anybody out there saw the story, let me know.
Fish. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, that's where it's going because Manitoba wants in on the deal, and now a lot of British Columbia wants in on the deal. And if you take a look at those four provinces, they're bigger than pretty much any European country. They've got the resources. They've got ports out of British Columbia. They've got everything they need to form a separate country and be very successful at it. And that's actually what I hope they do. I hope they become either a sovereign country,
right, or a territory of us,
or a protectorate of some sort, territory, whatever.
Because then we get to have a benefit of theirs, but the lefties involved can't vote.
Yes, because if you start bringing
a very
in,
American answer, by the way.
if you start bringing in British Columbia,
thank you, sir.
If you start bringing in British Columbia, you risk bringing in a whole lot of lefties because the west coast of British Columbia is basically Washington North.
Right.
So that would be the problem with BC. But and I say, tell Ontario and Quebec to go take a hike. Well, Ontario would be left alone because Quebec's been looking to do this for 40 years.
Quebec.
They've been looking to do this for 40 years. And then,
but isn't that where all the lefties are?
Yeah. A lot of lefties in Quebec.
Yeah.
And then I think it actually might even work out for the eastern provinces, because although they depend a lot on the transfer payments, there's a lot of fisheries out there. There's a lot of timber. There's a lot of natural resources that I have always wondered why why the east coast of Canada isn't yet better off than it is. They're pretty much impoverished. And I've always wondered, because they do have a lot of natural resources, including the fisheries.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and honestly, I was there when we voted for, well, we ended up voting against the separation, and it was a close thing in Quebec. I voted no, but I'll tell you, they have screwed around so much, and I'm sitting here going, yeah, I'm sorry, just do it, just go, just vote yes, make your own way in the world. I do agree that Alberta by itself would be at a bit of disadvantage if it was just Alberta. And I think if it was just Alberta, they probably would be very motivated to hook up with the United States. And yes, Special K, Quebec is pretty much a welfare state.
Oh yeah.
I think that the two, Quebec would be the province that did the worst, honestly. And Alberta, if they were doing it alone, I think they should be very motivated to become a state. But if they did it the way it's looking now with Saskatchewan, maybe Manitoba, and then especially if they can bring in BC with all the ports, all of a sudden they've got direct access to Asian markets for oil.
Yep.
I think with or without Manitoba, I'd say Manitoba is okay, but Saskatchewan, Alberta, British Columbia, yeah, you bring those in, and yeah, I'm all over that. I think they should become sovereign with a very close relationship to the United States.
I think all these things that Special K is bringing up is why they're all talking right now. They've sent agents to get together and talk, and they may be working something out.
Oh no, Special K, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there have been pretty much constant talks between not just the premiers of the 4 provinces, but with Washington. There have been delegations from Washington going up into Canada and into Calgary, and there have been delegates from the provinces in Washington, D.C., and this has been pretty much a regular thing for.
They're saying that they're not just doing this to get Ottawa to listen to them. They're very serious.
Well, there's well, that's very important.
42, man.
That is very important.
It is very important.
Good mountain biking.
You can mountain bike right by the ports.
Where was I going with this? But yeah, there have been regular and constant meetings between the feds and the provinces.
Yeah.
And
so when Trump throws something out and everybody thinks it's a joke, maybe it's not.
Alberta just sent their own people to take over all the federal offices. Well, okay, Special K, that's an interesting thing. You know,
that is interesting.
You know who you have trouble convincing is the Quebecers.
Yeah, the Libnuts, the guys that love the last guy, Justin.
And you know what? They can keep Quebec.
Yeah, let them have it.
Okay, what kind of sovereignty does each province have? Pretty much zero.
Right.
The criminal law, for instance, criminal law in Canada is all federal across Canada. Yeah, we don't want the libtards in BC. So criminal
Where's Commander? He should chime into this.
Well, yeah, I don't know where is Commander, but criminal law is federal. There is no such thing as a provincial criminal statute. And there are civil statutes in each province. Most of the provinces, I think the only ones who have an actual separate police force is Ontario and Quebec. They have the Ontario Provincial Police, the OPP, and the Quebec Provincial Police, otherwise known as the Nazis.
You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me.
The Sûreté de Quebec. Yeah, and
yeah, that's where he's from. Yeah, that's where Commander's from.
And
OCP.
the thing is, they're really not used to the provinces flexing, and that is what's happening right now.
Wow, interesting. This is why I like Fordy, because he has all the history like at the fingertips. He's like a computer mind on this stuff. I like that. That's why I like his streams. Let's move on. Say your last piece, because I want to move on to the Venezuelans.
Well, I think we're there. Yeah, the thing about the French Canadians is they're a residual of, well, like the War of 1812, basically, I guess, and the War of Independence before that, because the Americans beat the British back to the 38th parallel, and south of that was ours, except it's not strictly along the 38th parallel. Did you know that, Rich?
No.
What city is directly south of Detroit, Michigan?
Directly south?
Directly south of Detroit, Michigan.
No idea.
Windsor, Ontario.
Okay. Yeah.
And you basically can throw a stick from Windsor into Detroit. Wow. Anyway.
All right.
I have an idea. Why don't you read your story?
There we go. Trump clears the way to deport more than 250,000 Venezuelans given protection by Biden. And remember, like I said earlier, the majority of this 250,000 were people that came from the insane asylums and the prisons, and they were trained by Venezuelan military and Cuban military on how to just cause all kinds of chaos in the United States. The Trump administration will end the temporary, oh, that's a little too big. The Trump administration will end the temporary protection status designation assigned to as many as 256,000 Venezuelans, paving the way for their deportation. Former President Warm Diarrhea Brains issued 2 TPS orders for Venezuelans, the first in 2021, the second in 2023, providing eligible migrants with work authorization, none of them work, and temporary protection from deportation. It is generally available to people whose home country has experienced a natural disaster, armed conflict, or other extraordinary event like war. The government is persecuting you. But Trump has ruled Venezuela no longer meets those requirements. Quote, weighing public safety, national security, migration factors, immigration policy, economic considerations, and foreign policy. It's clear that allowing Venezuelan nationals to remain temporarily in the United States is not in America's best interest, a Department of Homeland Security spokesman said in a statement. Given Venezuela's substantial role in driving irregular migration and the clear magnet effect created by temporary protected status, maintaining or expanding TPS for Venezuelan nationals directly undermines the Trump administration's efforts to secure our southern border and manage migration effectively. So the TPS designation will expire on September 10th, 5 days from now, giving more than 256,000 Venezuelans living in the United States under TPS status just 7 days to begin arrangements to leave the country. Bye-bye. However, the termination will come into effect 60 days after the publication of the Federal Register notice. That's all we need to know. We're getting rid of them. Good. I don't like them. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. Hamas, Hezbollah, MS-13.
Oh, read about the Obama appointed judge.
Yeah, here we go. Let's do that one. There we go. This is like really what if this judge knew it or not? He just doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't have a grasp on his job or the Constitution. Obama appointed judge does the unthinkable. Is he trying to get Trump killed? And it's because these judges, these rogue left-wing judges, know that the left are murderous lunatics. They're psychopaths. So Judge Boasberg, the same a-hole district judge that has tried to hit Trump, who has lost like 6 times in SCOTUS, Judge Jeb Boasberg has done it again, folks. And this one is almost too outrageous to believe. It's so bad that many people are now wondering if the partisan deep state judge is actually trying to get President Trump killed. Our story starts with a deranged left-wing woman who on Facebook threatened to kill the President of the United States. Nathalie Jones wants to be a martyr for the left and sacrifice her life to murder President Trump. Look, so here she is. This is the lunatic. Federal Bureau of Investigation. Okay, let's say you have an elected official. She's telling them, perhaps you are an American citizen even. And let's say you have rights and would like to be represented. Let me tell you something, folks. Most of these fucking rights that the left talks about are not rights at all. Rights do not come from the government. I'm sorry, they don't. Because if you can get a right from a government and it's that powerful to take the right away from you. This is why Thomas Jefferson said the inalienable rights. Okay? They are rights that come from God. It's the first time in history, I believe, that we didn't have the power coming from a monarch, from the crown, okay, if you will. It came from God to the people, and we loaned it out to the government. That's how it's written for us, anyway. And so they say, you got rights. You have no fucking rights that you think you have. The government here, the libnuts, were the ones that started giving so-called rights away. You don't have those rights because the government, according to our Constitution, does not have the right to make those rights. But it is, I understand, it is how it is, okay? But it shouldn't be.
Yeah, but you have to understand, too, where this came from, because in England, starting with Henry VIII, he appointed the king as the head of the church. He appointed himself as the head of the church.
Right, because he wanted to get laid.
He was both the head of the government and the head of the church.
He wanted to get laid, so he pulled out of the Catholic Church and he created his own.
We can bypass that, but the thing is, he made himself the representative of God in England. So basically, he conflated the two as the representative, as the head of the church and the head of the government. That's my view.
Yeah.
Yes, Special K, I agree.
Well, yeah. Plus, when the founding fathers knew, because they came from Europe and they knew that that's the way it was, and they didn't want it that way.
Yeah.
They just didn't want it that way. They said we're endowed by certain inalienable rights, among those life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Originally, it was property, because Jefferson thought, and he didn't write that. Many others wrote these before he took them and made it into the Declaration. But he thought that to own property was the pursuit of happiness, because you couldn't own property under the monarchies. And so he thought, yeah, you have the right. But today you don't own your house. I mean, even if you pay your house off, you don't own the land. The government has the land, and they can use eminent domain to do whatever the hell they want. It's not supposed to be that way. Anyway,
yeah.
Perhaps you make a comment on social media. Perhaps you email the office on a web form. Then, feeling unheard, you protest somehow. Here's where we are. I literally told FBI in 5 states today that I am willing to sacrificially kill the POTUS by disemboweling him and cutting out his trachea with Liz Cheney and all the other affirmation present. And you did not come to my home this way at all. Let's deal with this and restore, what is that? Domestic tranquility. Wow. That's some serious terrorist level dedication. Now you have to wonder, is she actually trashing the government because she wrote that and they just don't give a rat's ass? Or is she actually being nuts? I have to question that. Now, I don't know.
I think both are true.
I don't know this woman from Adam. Who the hell's Adam? I don't know her at all. I don't know anything about her. I haven't read anything about her, but it sounds like she's saying, look, I contacted you guys to see if you're going to actually stop me, and you didn't. That would be interesting if she went to prison for that, because you can't threaten. I'm surprised she didn't get well, maybe she did. Let's read on. She might have gotten a visit from the Secret Service, because they do. That's some serious terrorist level dedication. And the fact that she openly shared her desire to dismember President Trump shows just how dangerous and mentally unhinged she is. But it gets worse. Oh, here you go. That's the woman. Okay. She actually traveled from New York to D.C. in order to carry out her plans. She took a photo of herself in front of the White House, the undercurrent. Meet Natalie Rose Jones, 50. She was just arrested after threatening to sacrificially kill President Trump, even bragging she'd disembowel him with a blade. She tried to get past the Secret Service. She posted her unhinged threat on Facebook and Instagram. Same thing. Then traveled from New York to D.C. with the intent to eliminate him. Secret Service interviewed her August 15, and she flat out admitted she'd carry out her mission. The next day, so why did they let her go? The next day, she showed up at a protest near the White House, and that's where she was cuffed. Good. This is domestic terrorism fueled by Trump derangement syndrome. Ratio her into oblivion. All right. And that's her, the lunatic. All right. So this woman is clearly unstable and needs both professional help and a jail cell. The New York Post. In other posts, Jones urged Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to please arrange the arrest and removal ceremony of POTUS Trump as a terrorist on the American people from 10 to 2 p.m. at the White House on Saturday, August 26th. We don't need to read that. When the Secret Service confronted her, she didn't back down. This violent left-wing jihadist actually doubled down and confirmed her intent to murder President Trump. Between her Facebook threats, mental illness, and her outright admission to the Secret Service, it's pretty obvious this woman is on a mission to assassinate President Trump. Any reasonable person, that's the word, and even the federal magistrate could see she was a danger and she was ordered to be detained. Good. Case closed? Not so fast. In walks deep state judge Jeb Boasberg, the same Obama-appointed judge who threw the book at Trump supporters for the hard crime of trespassing on January 6th, swooped in and handed this violent lunatic a get-out-of-jail-free card. And as meet Natalie Jones from C3. Natalie is violent. She is a liberal, as you can tell by the glasses. She threatened to kidnap and kill President Trump. You see how they got to put the one in there because they're afraid that the algorithms will pick it up. She was imprisoned for her threats. Judge Boasberg has released the violent Natalie. Both should be in prison. That's true. Both should be. Look at this. Lunatic. That's right. He let the wannabe assassin walk. It is literally that far-fetched to think this judge is setting the stage to get Trump killed? You know why they're saying this and why I agree with this? Because when word goes out, and the press was only too happy to report this shit, right? Even Revolver. But when that shit goes out, then every lunatic with a gun out there that hates Trump because these people tell them to hate Trump, they call him like Hitler, right? When you want to kill Hitler? So then they're going to start taking pop shots at him. I mean, this is what happens. And they go, and then when they do that, like after his assassination attempt, when he's shot in the ear, they say, well, Donald Trump's the one that brought this on himself. Really? Saying he's going to make America great again did, or your bullshit constantly calling him an authoritarian and the next Hitler? Did that do it?
You know what that reminds me of?
What's that?
A guy standing over his wife saying, look what you made me do.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Except my wife would be going, how do you reload this goddamn thing?
Yeah, well, yeah, there is that.
Yeah. Investigative reporter Julie Kelly, she literally wrote the book January 6th. All right, she's awesome, right? Doesn't think so, and there's more. Boasberg didn't just release one wannabe Trump assassin. He's released two, turning both of them loose back into American communities, from Julie Kelly. In July, Trump's Department of Justice filed a misconduct complaint against Boasberg for politically charged comments he allegedly made during a judicial conference. On the flip side, Boasberg is trying to advance a contempt case against the DOJ related to the Alien Enemies Act litigation.
Wasn't that thrown out?
Yeah. And he's still at it. This judge is one of the reasons, he's probably the reason why Gorsuch came out recently and threatened these judges.
Yep.
Because they made a ruling several months ago saying that Boasberg went over the line and you can't do that anymore. The asshole's still doing it. So Gorsuch just came out and said, look, for you judges out there, you district judges that keep violating our ruling, we are serious when we said you can't do this. Go outside your district. And they said there's going to be consequences for you, and it'll be censure. But I believe when a district judge is censured, it gives the Congress that momentum to impeach them and remove.
Yeah, he needs to be taken off the bench.
He needs to be taken off the bench. Yeah,
as a minimum.
Oh, yeah. What I would do if I was Trump, I would put some FBI agents in full riot gear, or put some federal agents in riot gear to stand guard outside his house in Boasberg's, just to freak him out. So let's see.
We're just protecting you.
Right. But it appears Boasberg, not notably, attended Trump's arraignment in the D.C. courthouse in 2023 on special counsel Jack Smith's J6 indictment, is taking his animus toward the president to a new and dangerous level. Julie Kelly's really good. In a matter of a few days, Boasberg released 2 demonstrably deranged individuals who have been arrested and charged for making threats against President Trump. Look, think about this. We got fucking judges that are involved in helping people to get out of jail who want to kill Trump. That's TDS to the max. Those decisions should prompt immediate questions from congressional Republicans as to whether Boasberg is using the bench to retaliate against the president and endanger the safety of a public figure who survived 2 assassination attempts last year. Julie lays out in stunning detail what led up to Boasberg setting Natalie Jones free. D.C. Magistrate Judge Moxilla, I'm not even going to attempt it, denied Jones's release and ordered a competency evaluation. In a letter to the court asking for leniency, a friend admitted Jones has had mental issues throughout her life. Another friend said Jones deals with schizophrenia. No, she doesn't. Yes, she does. Shut up. And thought she had it under control with medication. But then Jeb Boasberg got involved. In a highly unusual move, Boasberg reversed his detention order and scheduled a hearing for August 25. While acknowledging the oddly specific nature of Jones's social media post, Boasberg nonetheless downplayed her intentions. Quote, "Why shouldn't we consider this the rantings of someone with a mental illness with no ability to carry this out?" Boasberg asked prosecutors. "If she had a gun with her, this case is easy." Didn't she say she was going to gut him with a knife?
How easy how easy is it for a crazy person to get a gun?
Yeah, especially in D.C. because you can't own one legally, so they got them on every corner and you can buy them. Boasberg then allowed Jones to collect her items from police, drive back to New York wearing a GPS device. At least he did that, and meet with her psychiatrist. But Jones may soon be free of her ankle monitor after a D.C. grand jury just refused to indict Jones because they all hate Trump down there. A rarity becoming commonplace in the D.C. courthouse. More on this shortly. Her public defender is asking Boasberg to drop all conditions of release. Unbelievable. So we got this a-hole judge that's trying to stop Trump's agenda, releasing people that want to kill the president. What's up, Dottie? Good to see you.
And you know what's a worrisome facet of this? It's been said that anyone can be gotten to if you are determined enough and willing to exchange your life for theirs.
Yeah.
So, I think the president.
What's up, Leanne?
The president is kind of over the top, difficult to get to. But somebody with some skill and determination who's, already decided that they're not walking away from it.
Right.
They can do it. They'd be able to do it.
Damn right they can. Yeah. Here you go. Here's a great story. It's showing that the left, at least some of the leadership of the left, is understanding what's really going on. There we go. So David Axelrod, this guy here on the left, he's the guy that got Obama elected twice. All right. David Axelrod now begging Dems to accept Trump's offer to help because he sees the writing on the wall. So does Van Jones. They both see the writing on the wall saying, you guys are alienating yourself with the voters just to support your TDS compulsions. Think about that. Dems have a real gift for shooting themselves in the foot, and this latest blunder might be one of their biggest yet. Crime is out of control in liberal-run cities all over America, yet they're telling us crime's coming down. Yeah, it was way up here when the norm is here, and then it came down to here. So crime's coming down, but it's still above the norm. Crime is out of control in liberal-run cities all over America. Everybody sees it except Democrats. Everybody feels it except Democrats. And nearly everyone agrees something needs to be done with me except Democrats. It's one of those 90-10, I call 80-20, but 90-10 issues, the kind of thing even a halfway intelligent politician would know better than to fight against. Look at D.C. It was spiraling into a cartel-level nightmare until President Trump stepped in with the National Guard and federal forces and cleaned up the swamp. Think about this, Jade. Nancy Pelosi would not bring National Guard in on January 6th, but after January 6th, she had the Guard all over D.C. for what, 10 months? Made them sleep in garages?
With concertina wire.
Yeah, and made them sleep on parking garages, made them sleep on the floor in there for 10 months. Could have cleaned up the crime problem, but no. She wanted to send the message that these MAGA Republicans are just extreme. We need the National Guard here, 10,000 of them. For the first time in over a decade, people could walk the streets without fear of getting mugged, shot, or God knows what. Trump's experiment is proof that his tough on crime approach works. Soft on crime policies turn our cities into the third world. Since President Trump stepped in, D.C. carjackings 87%. That's why Muriel Bowser had to do it. Let's see
what it takes is leadership in Washington
or
any other city to say that we're simply going to uphold the laws that are on the books right now. You know, before President Trump did this, carjackings were up 550% in Washington, D.C. since 2018. We've had almost 100 murders in this city this year alone. And you know what? President Trump says enough of this. Now, since he's brought the National Guard in, since he has decided that we are going to uphold the law in the city, just in the past 2 weeks, roughly, carjackings are down 87%. Violent crime is down nearly 50%. That's what it looks like to take our country back, to take our cities back, so the American people can live and thrive and raise families in safe environments. And you know what? If that's something Democrats are against, I think that that is disgusting.
Yeah, exactly. It's disgusting. So let's go down. See what this guy says. Mayor Johnson, it's this idiot from Chicago. We're going to protect the humanity of every single person in the city of Chicago. He's saying that as a response to Trump wants to bring National Guard troops into Chicago to clean up the never-ending murder machine that's there. Well, they had like 58 murders or shootings over the weekend, the holiday weekend. Holy mackerel, 58. ABC on 19, 58 shit over Labor Day weekend in Chicago. Here we go. Let's bring this up.
No federal troops in the city of Chicago.
You hear this? There's the people. Yeah!
No militarized force in the city of Chicago. We're going to defend our democracy in the city of Chicago. We're going to protect the humanity of every single person in the city of Chicago. No.
Unbelievable. There's a moron, guys. That's the mayor. And you know what, Jade? They had a guy, a Democrat, who was a capitalist and who was tough on crime, who was running against that progressive nitwit. And they voted the progressive nitwit in. So you know what? They voted for what they got. Oh, I'm glitching? Am I really?
Okay, am I not glitching?
No, I think it's me because I glitched earlier. I saw it earlier, but I mean, I have a gigabyte internet stream coming in, so I don't know why I'm glitching. It must be something, maybe my PC. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
he's a mayor. He's a mayor of Chicago. Yeah.
This is an example of elections have consequences, and you get what you vote for.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
You know, it's also an example of some buyer's remorse, because I think his popularity was down to like 6%.
Hold on. My son said he's in here and he's effing with me. Maybe he was Nelson. Maybe it was him. I don't know.
But I think I think Jeb Boasberg, he's got to have the.
Oh, you came in on Richie Valor. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He's got to have the worst case of TDS that I've ever seen.
Oh, I'm telling you. Yeah, I didn't see your posts, Rich. Yeah, my son's here. Listen, guys, I want to take a minute. I was always at like level 7, level 9, but
no, we're up to 10.
You might be right. You might be right. Yeah, 10 now. I agree. But he might be up to 12. Is right.
Yeah,
he's a lunatic. This guy. He's dangerous.
We're up to 10, and then I've seen a few 11s, and I think he might be 12. I think he might be that far down that road.
Yeah. All right. So let's do this next one. The David Axelrod. Well, now we're on that. We don't need to do that anymore. We know.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they don't listen to David Axelrod, because if they
me too
turn around and become reasonable and start working with Trump, that they get more votes. I don't want them to have any more votes.
I know. I don't want them to either. So here we go. Ready? So warm diarrhea brains. Internal emails reveal Joe Biden did not review thousands of pardons granted in the final days of his presidency. New internal emails reveal Joe Biden did not review the thousands granted in the final days of the presidency. Biden doesn't review the warrants, one of the White House lawyers said. New York Post reported President Biden's sweeping clemency 8,000 grants during his final days in office caused concern inside the West Wing and Justice Department about how to ensure his wishes were accurately implemented. And it's unclear whether Biden himself, his wishes, he doesn't even know where he's at. Whether Biden himself was consulted before thousands of pardons were announced. Internal emails obtained exclusively by the Post show. The messages indicate the 46th president, we call him Dash. He's the Dash between 45 and 47. The messages indicate that Dash orally approved commutations for inmates jailed for crack cocaine offenses on January 11, but his auto-penned signature wasn't affixed to 3 documents listing the 2,500 recipients until the morning of January 17th. The debate over who exactly to include in the mass pardons and how to modify their sentences came to a head late on the night of January 16. Then White House Staff Secretary Steph Feldman, a key gatekeeper of the presidential auto pen, she already admitted that, wrote to West Wing lawyers she needed evidence Biden had consented. At least they had one person in their administration that gave a shit, had consented before she authorized a mechanical signature on one of the most sweeping acts of clemency in American history. Look at this. James Comer put this out. New internal emails reveal Joe Biden's sweeping pardons sparked concern inside the Biden West Wing and DOJ over whether his wishes were followed. It's unclear if Joe Biden himself was even consulted before thousands of pardons went out. Wow. The Oversight Project broke the story about the Biden auto pen scandal wide open after they discovered thousands of acts of clemency and executive actions were signed with an auto pen rather than a wet signature. Earlier this year, the Oversight Project revealed 6 criminals were pardoned by Biden's auto pen on December 30, 2022, while Joe Biden was vacationing and golfing in St. Croix. Does anybody think he was really golfing? Over the summer, it was reported that the White House is investigating the growing Biden auto pen scandal. Yeah, there were like 3 of them. So in other words, the J6 committee people better lawyer up. They better lawyer up because they're coming for you. You assholes violated everything you could think of. Remember when you used to say boiled potato brain? Yeah. Now I say warm diarrhea brains because that's what he had. It makes people laugh. I see Dan Bongino calls Biden rotting. Well, he calls him a rotting bag of oatmeal. That's what he calls him. He's a rotting bag of oatmeal. I called him a fermenting cabbage bag.
Just call him a pre-corpse.
Yeah.
Pre-corpse.
That's what he is.
You want to bump down to Kennedy?
RFK, yeah, that's what I'm doing next.
Bump down to
yeah, that's the one I'm doing. That's the one
Kennedy.
I wanted to do anyway. Yeah. So here we go. This is interesting. Kennedy turns the tables on Democrats in a fiery hearing on CDC and vaccines. It is good. There's several. Let's see what this one is.
Healthcare agenda. Mr. Secretary, thank you for being here.
It's 2 hours, but we're not going to.
While I expect a spirited debate today, I would remind my colleagues that each senator is limited to 5 minutes, and we're going to try to keep that as tight as we can today. There's 27 of us, and we all probably are going to want to have our opportunity. At the end of the 5-minute time frame, I will gently tap the gavel if it appears that things are starting to lapse over.
We don't have to watch that part. We'll go down. Hang on. We'll go back and go down to the good one. Let's see. Now we come back. Sorry about that. I had to clear that. All right. So down here, Secretary Kennedy just destroyed Ron Wyden. So here we go.
About anything you've done or plans to change it. And my last comment is, I hope that you will tell the American people how many preventable child deaths are an acceptable sacrifice for enacting an agenda that I think is fundamentally cruel and defies common sense. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I think he's talking about that they don't want to have mandatory COVID shots for children who 99 and 44, 100% are not going to get anything worse than the sniffles.
Do I got a reply? Or,
there you go.
Senator, you've sat in that chair for how long? 20, 25 years, while the chronic disease in our children went up to 76%. And you said nothing. You never asked the question why it's happening. Why is this happening? Today, for the first time in 20 years, we learned that infant mortality has increased in our country. It's not because I came in here. It's because of what happened during the Biden administration that we're going to end.
I'm going to let Senator Wyden respond briefly to that, and then we're not going to go over.
We're not going to hear it. It runs out. So I like RFK Jr. in that he's got balls. Here's another one.
Yeah, he's turning out to be a good pick.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I knew he would. But anyway.
And then you want to hear from Vance? That's the next one down, Vance. That's
actually, I want to watch this one first.
Which one?
Let's do this one. Where do you hear this?
There's nothing coming up.
Oh, I didn't share it? Hold on. Did I? Oh, you're right. Holy shit. I do this more often than not.
I got to keep you on it. I got to keep
I know. That's why we have JH, because she keeps me in.
I got to keep you in line.
All right, here we go. Let's do it again.
Oh, God. He's our guy.
And now it's going to, oh, Jesus. Let me refresh that. Figures.
I think it's critical for you to share the evidence that this panel will rely on. Will you give the American people 6 months or 6 weeks in advance the record that they're going to rely on to make these decisions? Will you make it transparent for the American people?
All the evidence is transparent.
Will you make it in advance transparent for the American
people? It is
people?
transparent.
All the evidence is transparent for the first time in history, and you were never there complaining when the pharmaceutical companies were picking those people and then running their products through with no safety testing.
You can characterize it any way you want. I quoted them today. What I said was accurate. What you said were lies.
Are you saying, Senator,
moving the Titanic? Senator,
are you saying that the mRNA vaccine has never been associated with myocarditis or pericarditis in teenagers?
I am simply.
Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I am simply trying to say that the people that you have put on that panel, after firing the entire.
You're evading the question.
No, I'm asking the questions here.
You're evading that question.
I'm asking the questions.
I asked you a question.
I'm asking the questions for Mr. Kennedy on behalf of parents and schools and teachers all over the United States of America who deserve so much better than your leadership. That's what this conversation is about, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, they deserve the truth, and that's what we're going to give them for the first time in the history of that agency.
Oh, man, he's just kicking their asses.
That's our Michael Bennett out of Colorado. What a piece of shit.
I know. So this is the best one. It is Chief Crazy Bitch Elizabeth Warren.
It's not coming out.
How? I didn't. Wow. It's StreamYards then, because that's the second time I did not take it out. All I did was hit escape to make the video shrink down to the page again.
I have no idea how StreamYard works.
That's just weird. Well, any In your browser, if you increase the size of a video and you hit escape, it brings it back down, but it stays on the page. It doesn't close the page. But StreamYard apparently is. So let's start over again. Chief Crazy Bitch, Chief Spreading Bull. Here we go.
Will you tell America that all adults and all children over 6
Look at
months of
Bernie.
age are eligible to get a COVID booster at
Listen to
their local
this.
pharmacy today?
Anybody can get the booster.
I'm sorry?
Anybody can get it. Senator.
Anybody. So you're saying that is now the official rule of HHS. Anybody is eligible to get a booster by just walking into the pharmacy.
It's not recommended for healthy people.
No. If you don't recommend, then the consequence of that in many states
Really?
is that you can't walk into a pharmacy and get one.
Wait a minute. If you don't recommend, it means that you're just not recommending. You're not saying don't go and get it.
It's insurance.
No, and what that means is you have to talk to your doctor. You remember those commercials?
Yeah.
Ask your doctor if X is right for you.
Right.
Well, okay, now you got to ask your doctor. Maybe your doctor has something to say about it.
I would recommend that every Democrat in Congress ask their doctor if Paxil is right for them.
Insurance companies don't have to cover the $200 or so cost. As Senator Dr. Cassidy said, you are effectively denying people vaccines.
We're not going to recommend a product for which there's no clinical data for that indication. Is that what I should be doing?
What you should be doing is honoring your promise that you made when you were looking to get confirmed in this job.
You're going like
and
this.
that is, you promised that you would
Watch.
not take away
He destroys her.
vaccines from anyone who wanted them.
He didn't.
You just changed the classification of the COVID vaccine.
Doesn't
I'm not
matter.
taking them away from people, Senator.
It takes it away if you can't get it from your pharmacist.
Well, most Americans are going to be able to get it from their pharmacy for free.
$200.
Most Americans will be able to get it from their pharmacy
The
for free.
question is, everyone who wants it, that was your promise.
I know
Mr.
I didn't.
Kennedy,
I
not
never
mine.
promised that I was going to
You didn't
recommend
promise-
products
Oh,
with which
I'm
there is no
sorry.
indication.
When you said.
And I know you've taken $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator.
Did you hold up a big sign saying that you were lying when you said that? Because you are the one who said you would not take them away. Now, Senator.
he's not.
I'm not taking them away from anybody.
Secretary,
You want me to indicate a product for which there is no clinical data?
Senator,
Is that what you want?
Secretary Kennedy, you said you wouldn't, and now you did.
I'm
You
not
hear what
taking them
this
away.
is what Democrats do, and she's the master of this. Okay, she'll just keep throwing that sticking point, and every time he beats it down, she acts like he didn't say a thing.
Yeah.
And she doesn't understand why she looks like the south end of a northbound horse.
Yeah, and-
Everybody can get access.
And the little smile on her face because she
Yeah.
thinks she's making a point.
Let me tell you something about this bitch. Before she got in the Senate, because her husband died. Okay, the governor probably appointed her. Okay, because of that. And prior to that, she got a job. She was hired by Congress, a contractor, to write an anti-bankruptcy bill. And I think it wasn't Trump derangement senator because he was just in New York. But in New York, all over the country at that time, real estate was taking a hit. And it turns out that that was the time where a lot of biggies just like Trump in New York were like cashing out, getting out because they couldn't handle it because they were losing money left and right. Trump took bankruptcies. He had over 400 companies. And, you know, they go, he took 400 companies bankrupt. No, he didn't. But he took bankruptcies to save his companies and save the jobs for all the people that worked there. He did it strategically, and he was very smart. Okay. So the libnuts, the Democrats, wanted to create legislation that would make it harder for companies to save themselves, all right, when the economy goes south because of Democrat policies, economic policies. So she gets hired to do this. She writes that law, makes it harder. It's signed into law. Then that whore turns around and says to corporations, to giant corporations, which is what she always bitches about, and said, hey, hire me at an exorbitant price, of course, because I will help you get around with the loopholes that I've written into that law. So she takes a shit ton. I think she made like $300,000 writing the bill, right? And now she's whoring herself out to the giant corporations to tell them that she'll get them around that law. So what was the point of writing the law? Was it because she really believed in it, because she wanted the money that the Congress paid her, or because she wanted to whore herself out as a lawyer to help corporations get around the very law that she was paid by our tax dollars to write? That's what kind of person she is.
No,
I think
can't
the answer to that question is obvious.
Yeah.
walk into a pharmacy the way they could last month and get access.
It
to a
depends on the
vaccine.
state. It depends on the
It
states.
depends. A year ago,
But they can
it
still
did
get
not
it.
depend.
Everybody
A
can get
month
it.
ago, it did not
Everybody can
depend.
get it, Senator.
So look, let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on, because you've made me look like a horse's patoot. Unreal.
Yeah, that's a good strategy of Democrats. They make a point, and then when you dismember them, they just change.
He
the
wasn't
point.
taking it away. He wasn't. That
Yeah,
wasn't.
they just when you start to be able to rebut their point, they just change direction and talk.
He
about
said that
something else.
he said that the government was no longer going to recommend it for children, because there's no data whatsoever on children needing needing it.
Yeah, especially.
Oh, I think Leanne came in and then we missed her.
No, she said. What did she say? That's up there somewhere. She said she'd love to come in, but she's having trouble with her camera.
Oh,
and her
okay.
microphone.
All right, because she is in here. Well, she was here, but I don't see her now.
Yeah, she probably tried to come in, but she's having trouble with her
Oh, I'm sorry.
microphone and camera, apparently.
Yeah.
So,
If Trump or RFK Jr. said it's probably a good idea to breathe air, yeah, they'd
No,
fixate themselves.
how many times have I said that? Trump said it was, air was good. They'd like hold their breath.
Well, you usually say if Trump said he wants to cure cancer, they would side with cancer.
Yeah.
They would. They absolutely would. All right. So next.
Yeah,
Let me
look how
know.
many
Let me know.
cancer
Oh, you
clinics
don't
you're
know if
putting
she
out of
comes in
business.
because you don't see her. Yeah, you don't know if she comes in.
Yeah, I don't
There you
see
go.
that.
Jade is right. Yeah. Yeah, I got to fix that.
I want to see the one about Vance.
JD Vance. Yeah, that's the one underneath the one that was the follow-up that I wanted to do to the one we just watched. Yeah, here you go. Vance blasts Democrat senators. You're full of shit. Kennedy grilling massively backfires. So let's see. Vice President, I just gave him a promotion too soon. Vice President J.D. Vance tore into Senate Democrats after they reacted like a group of school children playing courtroom during RFK Jr.'s testimony today. I believe this was yesterday. It was the 4th, yeah. It says the senators lined up to take pot shots at Kennedy, who remarkably held his own in what was clearly an attempt to sour the American people and the HHS secretary. They hate his guts because he doesn't go along with them, and by not going along with them, he may harm their grift from the pharmaceutical companies. The Democrats' efforts appear to have spectacularly backfired. Quote, when I see all these senators trying to lecture and gotcha Bobby Kennedy today, Vance wrote in the next post, all I can think is you all support off-label, untested, irreversible hormone therapies for children. Vance added, he said, you're full of shit and everyone knows it. You gotta love that. Cernovich.
Tell us what you really think.
Yeah, I know. Don't sugarcoat it. He says the senators all look very Cernovich. The senators all look very stupid, totally uninformed. All they had are bullet points from their big pharma handlers. Secretary Kennedy took them into deep waters and they all drowned. That's a good explanation. Here it is. Today revealed that Democrats have nothing other than delusional opposition to Trump. Spot on, Josh Walker. Spot on. If the American people were to watch the hearing from today in full, not a single Democrat senator would win another election. They behaved like grade school children.
Yeah,
so here's Nikki, Canadian.
Unfortunately, that's not true because there are the Democrats out there who vote for anybody with a D next to their name.
Yeah, true. Follow the money. They sold their souls to big pharma to enrich themselves at the expense. I firmly believe that. Totally corrupted politicians. There's all the money that they're making. Look at that, Bernie. Holy mackerel, 1.9 mil.
No,
Warnock,
that's not
1.7.
true. That's not true. I saw Bernie himself. He said he never took a penny from pharma.
Yeah, and I remember when he said that, and to Kennedy, and Kennedy just ripped him apart and said, "Nonsense! You were on." And here, he wouldn't disclose it as such. He discloses something other than Big Pharma, and that's what. And Kennedy found out, and he pointed out right in the hearing. Let me see. Is one of mine here? I hope not.
Michael Bennett, he's mine.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, Warnock's one of the guys that stole the election in Georgia, the Senate race. Cory Booker, of course. Let's see who the most worthless is. Angela, also Brooks. She's also Brooks, from Maryland.
Yeah, I guess she's the easiest to buy.
Here you go. We all support off-label, untested, and irreversible hormone therapies for children, mutilating your kids and enriching Big Pharma. But you, Bobby Kennedy, you're the biggest threat to American children. Can you believe this? Ha! Well, no, that's not him saying it. That's what the Dems told him.
Yeah,
Senators,
he's basically making fun of the Dems.
Oh yeah, that's what he was doing. Senators grilling RFK while backing child mutilation drugs is peak hypocrisy. I hope we don't get in trouble for this. Fact checkers! I'm just reading what's online. They push irreversible pharma experiments on kids, then dare to preach about health and science like frauds. That's exactly true. I forget who I was in. I think I did a video. Yeah, I said this in a video, but I was arguing with somebody, which got me to do the video. It was that they pushed all this crap and they destroyed the American people's belief in medicine. That's pretty hard to do, but they did it. They got away with Eric Doherty. Wyden, former CDC doctor. Oh, let's just do this then.
Said you did, which is tell her to just go along with vaccine recommendations, even if she didn't think such recommendations align.
He looks like a
with
ghoul.
scientific evidence.
No, I did not.
That's a yes or no. So you have an opportunity to call her a liar if you say that you didn't do it. But I'd like to see you respond to this.
No, I did not say that to her. And I never had a private meeting with her. There are witnesses to every meeting that we have, and all of those witnesses will say, I never said that.
So she's lying today
Yeah.
to the American people in the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's talk now about what's coming up, because I've made it clear what I've.
Yes, sir. And he went, okay. Gotta love that.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, nothing to say.
Let's move on.
Yeah. He had absolutely nothing to say. So just
Hey, you want to talk about Jiminy Crockett?
Yeah. Jasmine Crockett. Here we go. Yeah. Jasmine Crockett's record this year suggests she's the conspiracy theorist she denies being. She is a lunatic because she saw that the squad members were getting a lot of press, a lot of money, because they ran their mouths with progressive nonsense, and she wanted part of that. Because when you see her, there's videos of her when she was a state representative and she was a lawyer, and she was very competent. She was not a lunatic, not running around saying woke shit. Now articulate. She does. Very articulate.
And
yeah,
polite.
She's very articulate. And well, she's articulate when she does the jive shit too. It's just she rubs you the wrong way. But when you learn that she was never that way until she joined the squad, it's a grift. She's doing it for the money.
Yeah, it's fake ghetto.
Well, she's out after the midterms because her
thank
district's
God.
done.
I'm
Her
so
district's
tired.
done. Yeah, I'm tired of her too.
I'm so tired.
Democratic Texas Representative Jasmine Crockett insisted on MSNBC Wednesday that she isn't a conspiracy theorist, but her own words tell a different story. In an appearance on Deadline White House, Crockett denied being a conspiracy theorist. Crockett said Jeffrey Epstein set up a sham company to abuse women while on work release in Florida in 2008. She added that his network included fake immigration records for girls from Russia and Ukraine. She also implicated accountants, banks, and lawyers. Quote, I've never been a conspiracy theorist ever in my life, okay? No silver tin hat here, okay, sis, Crockett said. But I'm going to tell you that as I sat and listened, she said, I've never been a conspiracy theorist, but let me go on with a conspiracy theory. But I'm going to tell you that as I sat and listened to these women, as someone who's been in courtrooms and frankly has reviewed my fair share of discovery in cases because I have represented on the defense side people accused of similar acts.
People
This
accused,
yeah.
I assume.
People accused. This is next level. The levels to this is absolutely insane. And we're not talking about the things that he's espousing to clean our cities of these low-level criminals. Crockett launched into a sprawling account of Epstein's 2008 incarceration. Do we want to let's listen for a little bit.
What do you think they're covering up?
Listen, I mean, now I've never been a conspiracy theorist ever in my life. Okay, no silver tin.
Look at her.
Hat here, okay, sis. But I'm gonna tell you that as I sat and listened to these women, as someone who's been in courtrooms and frankly has reviewed my fair share of discovery in cases because I have represented on the defense side people accused of similar acts, this is next level. The levels to this is absolutely insane. And we're not talking about, the things that
She said Q's is Queues.
he's espousing to clean our cities of these low-level criminals. We are talking about, for instance, let me tell you, there was a story of, I'll try to make it quick. There was a story of a young lady who ended up encountering Epstein as he was incarcerated in 2008 in Florida because he set up a sham company.
If he was incarcerated, how did a woman meet up with him?
Okay. I thought she said accused, by the way.
Oh, I did too, but she said in Q's, Queus.
I thought when I was listening to her, I thought she said accused, but it doesn't matter. Keep going.
I did too.
And he was able to then be on work release to his sham company. And while on work release, meaning that he was absolutely being monitored, but he wasn't, he was still abusing women. That is the level. We're talking about them doing fake
I can't wait to hear what the truth is.
Immigration documents and getting girls from Russia, from Ukraine. Obviously, we knew that there were international implications. They also talked about Israel in this. Like they implicated, it's like the banks, the accountants, the lawyers. Like it is insane. And so I personally think this is about the people that made sure that they could have puppets like Trump in power that he is trying to cover for.
Yeah, Trump's a real puppet, right?
Yeah, he's the one who turned Epstein in, according to Epstein. That's what he said.
Right.
Now,
and he's,
what was her point? What was her point? Did you glean anything whatsoever?
No, she brought up. It sounds like she brought up Epstein because she had no filler.
Yeah, and okay, the only thing I got from that is Epstein was a bad guy. Okay, this is not a revelation. Epstein was a bad guy, and he had a big thing going.
Right.
And okay, I read that in the newspaper like a year ago.
What was true, Special K? What part? She said several things. Yeah, that's true. They did that with a lot of people. And it was because they thought at the time that he really was a hedge fund manager. That's what they thought, but he wasn't. He never was. He's working for CIA and Mossad. The Russian girl, yeah, probably, because he had a lot, not just Russian girls. I'm sure she said Russia and Ukraine because of the war going on. Anything to trash Trump, because now it's Trump's war, right? Biden created it and allowed. He's actually let it begin because of what his dumb shit said when he was interviewed. And so, well, now I think he has to go in to save face. That was the go ahead.
Yeah, and I think that it's important to know that when they first started to look into this and Epstein was on a work release, they really didn't have a good idea of exactly what was going on.
Right.
So, I think what actually was going on was much more than people thought at the time. So he was on work release for probably he shouldn't have been on work release, but people didn't know 95% of the stuff he was doing when he was placed on work release.
It is. The company he was on work release for was a shell company. I'm absolutely sure of that.
Well, that's Yeah, I mean, that's not a shocker. I mean, think of the people he knew and who he had stuff on. You'd think
CIA and everyone else. Exactly.
how many judges, how many federal organizations.
Whitney Webb points all that out in her book.
Yeah. So, yeah. So for him to get some sort of preferential treatment, that's not a surprise at all.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. And it's crooked. And guess what? We're never going to know. So, next one.
What do you want to talk about next?
This is one of the fun ones.
What are we doing next?
We're doing insane, batshit insane. So Trump tells Supreme Court he'll appeal batshit insane E. Jean Carroll's case. Now, let me start off. I've said this before, but New York, the legislature actually made a law to go after Trump. I mean, that isn't that, what do they call that?
Oh, I forgot the name, but you're not allowed to do that.
A bill of attainder. They call it a bill of attainder.
Yeah, you're not allowed to.
Yeah, you can't make a law to go after one person or a group. You can't. And that's what they did. What they did is they made a law that said, look, for 2 years, we will allow you to say that the statute of limitations no longer is there for sexual assault, so that they could bring a lunatic like E. Jean Carroll out to attack Trump. It was all another part of election interference. So, and Trump has never paid a dime of the $84 million, and I don't think he will. President Trump plans to ask the Supreme Court this fall, first Monday of October, to overturn a civil jury verdict that found he sexually abused writer E. Jean Carroll and defamed her. The attorney said, "You all right?" Wrong pipe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Peter Thiel's boyfriend didn't end.
Okay.
All right. So
I'm much better now.
Good. So Trump's intentions were revealed in an application docketed by the nation's highest court on September 2. In the application, his lawyers asked the court to extend an upcoming September 10 deadline for filing a petition to challenge the $5 million verdict in November 10th. The application was directed to Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who handles urgent appeals from New York. Typical. Trump intends to seek review of significant issues arising out of the trial and what he termed the erroneous ruling by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit that affirmed the verdict according to the application. She had no recollection of the day, the time of day, what actual room it was in. The only thing she remembered was the dress she wore.
She didn't remember what year it was.
Yeah, she didn't remember what year it was. It was like that ballsy, what's her name? I forget it. The one that went after Justice Kavanaugh. Remember? Blasey Ford.
Yeah.
That was it. Christina Blasey Ford, where she said he raped her. She didn't remember the day. She didn't remember the time. She didn't remember where it was. Her best friend literally said, "We never thought it happened." You know, because she never told us. Like all these years, she never told us that we don't think it really happened, because she would have told us. She said that we all knew because she said it out loud in the house that they were in, supposedly. She said, "We never heard it. No one ever said it to me. She's never talked to me about it." You know, at least she was honest, right? On June 13, a divided Second Circuit denied a rehearing in the case. Circuit judges Stephen Menashe and Michael Park dissented from the ruling. Quote, "These holdings conflict with controlling precedents and produced a judgment that cannot be justified under the rules of evidence that apply as a matter of course in all cases." In other words, they're giving you a bullshit reason to not be able to take it up. Trump's attorney in the case, Justin D. Smith and James Otis Law Group LLC in St. Louis, Missouri, said more time was needed to file the petition. Undersigned counsel faces a significant press of business due to many upcoming deadlines, Smith said. Carroll gave evidence during 2023 trial that Trump attacked her in 1996 in a dressing room in a Manhattan department. She doesn't remember which one. Store near the Trump Tower. And Trump put out pictures saying, "She's not my type." And pictures came out of all his wives, you know, including Melania. And he's like, and then you have a picture of her, the wretched thing, when she was younger, as a matter of fact. It's in its May 2023 verdict, the federal jury that hated Trump held Trump liable for sexually abusing Carol. She provided no evidence and defaming her when he made statements in October 2022 denying. So you're not allowed to deny sexual allegations against you as you're running for president? Come on. The jury awarded Carol $5 million in damages. In another lawsuit filed by Carol, a federal jury ordered Trump to pay $83.3 million in damages over statements he made in 2019 denying the sexual assault allegations.
How dare he?
So the denial was worth more than the fact that he supposedly, and that's why Adam Smith, Adam Smith said it too, but that's why he's being sued. But that's why what's his name from ABC News, Stephanopoulos. That's why they had to pay a fortune to Trump, because he said multiple times to his guests that Trump was a convicted rapist, and the guy said no, he wasn't. He goes, yes, he was. He was convicted of rape. He said he was never even charged with rape, and so Trump sued because he got sick and tired of these people making these lies up. And so CBS, ABC, I think it's ABC that he's with, they had to pay out the wazoo. Don't know where the wazoo is, but they had to pay out of it. A 3-judge panel of the Second Circuit affirmed the verdict in December 2024, rejecting Trump's article. Screw all this. Trump is going to win by the Supreme Court because the whole thing was bullshit. We all know it. It was all part of the lawfare to get him out.
Yeah. When all you've got is some vague recollections by the victim. That's it. That's it.
I know. Oh, yeah. So let's see. Next one. Well, we already talked about it. We don't have to read it. It was the Department of War.
Yeah.
He's driving the liberals.
It's just nuts. A done deal.
Yeah. He's driving them nuts. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Pete Hegseth. Hang on. Former U.S. Army Special Forces warns cartels of holy hell unleashed if they try anything against America. And they will. You know they will. Because Hegseth is right now putting together a team that's just going to destroy the cartels. I mean, militarily. Former U.S. Army Special Forces and World Strat President Jim Hansen warned drug cartels Tuesday on Fox News, Jesse Waters' primetime, that holy hell would be unleashed if they tried to retaliate against America for cracking down on their activities. President Donald Trump announced Tuesday that the American military sank a vessel belonging to Venezuelan drug cartel Tren de Aragua, killing 11 cartel members on board. Discussing the strike against the vessel, Fox's Jesse Waters asked Hansen if he believes there's a risk of counterstrikes inside the U.S. from former cartel members. Now, they'll pay any junkie and give them guns to come in and start shit, but no, there won't be that much, because they know Trump's not effing around, and they'll find out if they do. There is asymmetric warfare is the Achilles heel of the United States. We are one giant soft target here in the United States. However, payback can be a medevac if they're trying something like that. Hansen said, you go ahead and hit us here, and you want to see some holy hell unleashed wherever you're operating. I don't think they do it more than once. The strike, conducted by the U.S. Southern Command in international waters, took place near 3 Aegis-class missile boats stationed alongside other assets to disrupt the Latin American cartel's drug trade routes. In a post about the hit against the organization, Trump wrote that the drug cartel has been operating under the control of Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro, who is responsible for mass murder, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, and acts of violence and terror in the United States and Western Hemisphere. That's why Maduro right now is out there saying Donald Trump is preparing something to come after me because he doesn't like the way I run my country. That's what he's saying. He's trying to get the lib nuts of the world to unite against Trump by lying. He's not saying that he is working with drug cartels and sex traffickers and all that shit. So he's just bullshitting. We don't have to listen to it. Waters asked Hansen if he believes Americans will be willing to support Trump for pushing back cartels. He replied, 100%. The American people are sick of seeing these drug traffickers and these cartels destroying our country with no consequences. And if any of these people down in South America think they're going to make friends in our hemisphere with the Russians and the Chinese or anybody else, They're going to find out President Trump is back in charge. America's on top. That's not going to play. Yeah, Trump's not effing around anymore.
No, but people are finding out.
Yeah. Oh, there she is.
Hey guys.
Hey, Leanne, how you doing? What's going on, girl?
I am knee deep in wedding planning. I've got one more getting married in October. 3 weddings, 18 months.
How many is it so far? How many so far?
Well, 3 weddings in 18 months.
Can you imagine?
How many more you got?
No,
I think it's the last
none.
one.
This is the last one. Hey, I told
Yeah.
him too. I said, look, this is only what I'm paying for. And if you have another one, don't even invite me. I ain't coming.
Don't get divorced.
You get a divorce and you get married again. Don't call me because I'm not paying for one and I probably won't show up. That's all I got to tell you.
Right. So what's going on down south?
Well,
What's
going on down south right now is Alabama football sucks. Our coach sucks. They need to fire everybody.
Roll Tide?
It's still Roll Tide, but we just need
Right,
to roll
always Roll Tide.
or back to
All right.
Washington from where the hell he came
So
from.
what about Space Force?
Yay!
I know.
My daughter's getting married in Huntsville.
Oh, is she? Okay.
We'll
Yeah.
be up there, and
Cool.
I just got back
Cool.
from there about 2 weeks ago, and we'll be back in October.
If you guys don't know, Huntsville was chosen to be the place for Space Force to move their command center.
And guess who lost it?
Who's that?
It was in Colorado.
Oh, get out. Yeah, well, the libnuts there.
Yeah, it was in Colorado. And Trump said, you know what? Huntsville, since it's basically the original home of the original space race,
Yep.
a lot of people don't know that. Huntsville, you probably do, Leanne, but Huntsville was where the original American rocket scientists were. And a lot of the space race actually started there.
Yes, and when I was in middle school, we took a several-day trip and did a field trip up there at the space station. It was awesome. But that's been a long time ago. I'm sure it's much better now. But yes, that's right. You're correct, Jade.
Cool.
So
what else is going on?
Well, I would like to talk about the mayor of Chicago a minute.
Yeah.
And I want
Brandon Johnson.
Well, let me say this. Number one, all they need is affordable housing and some social workers. So how's that going to work? Okay, guys, here I am. Now stop arguing. Let's talk about your feelings and see if we can't figure this problem out. Don't shoot me.
Yeah.
Don't shoot. Let's
Is that
talk
not
about
stupid? That is stupid, isn't it?
There's, you shouldn't even insult stupid people like that.
I mean, think about it. When they during the St. George Floyd riots, when the Democrats around city councils and around America started saying, yeah, we're going to defund the police and we're going to send out the social workers. I was like, are you insane? Have a social worker do a ride along with a cop one day. They'll give up that idea. Have the city council members, ride along one day with a cop in Chicago. That idea goes out.
Yeah, well, I know if I was a social worker, I'm not responding to these calls.
No way. Yeah.
Well, it's just ridiculous. And and Pocahontas, she's lost her mind.
Oh, of course.
And I'm hoping to see Comey and Brent. Now, Brennan was on television not long ago, almost in tears.
Yeah, but he's still saying Donald Trump is just coming after me for revenge because we did our due diligence on the Russia. Yeah.
Yeah,
What a
whatever.
jackass. He should be in prison he lied to Congress. They asked him, were you spying on the Senate? He said, no, categorically no. Then later on, he had to go back and testify again and admit it. And they never hit him up for perjury. Never.
It's kind of funny that they only hit a conservative or a Republican up for any type of crimes, but it's just cool for whatever's going on the other side.
True, Gina. Absolutely true. It was a nutty idea when they brought it up. Absolutely nutty. Yeah.
The whole world is going to hell in a handbasket, if you ask me.
Speaking of hell, how hot is it down where you are now?
It's not bad.
Really?
Actually, it's nice.
It's usually hotter than hell down where she lives in Alabama.
Well, it's really hot like that from about the mid of July to about the last couple of weeks of August. But it's
Okay.
September now, and it's really nice outside.
Oh, cool. Very
And it
cool.
rained for a
Well,
couple. So that's
well,
great.
we've had a big giant blob of cold come down from Canada.
Mhm.
We imported it without tariffs.
Oh, did you? Well, good for you.
Apparently, there's no tariffs on cold fronts.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
fun.
there's this huge. So the whole east, the whole east of the United States is pretty much buried in this cold front.
Wow.
So,
Well-
as I had heard, it was getting down like below 50 degrees in the
When?
northern states like Michigan and
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
yeah.
here right now it's 78 degrees. It's 8 o'clock at night now, and it's 78 degrees outside.
It's really nice down south. So
Good.
what else do you
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
know?
It just
Enjoy it.
this has made it nice in Texas and Alabama and Georgia and such.
Good.
But yeah, some of the like Michigan and North Dakota, I guess they got really pretty cold with lows like down in the 50.
Well, I wonder who manufactured that cold front.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, like the North Carolina.
Yeah.
The problem there. Manufactured by the Biden administration. Brought to you by the Biden administration.
And when they knew that the hurricane was going somewhere 3 weeks before it ever developed, that
Yeah.
just that
Where do you
got-
live? Take Two drum covers. Where do you live?
Yeah, see, we're getting some confirmation back here.
70-mile-an-hour winds, rain, hail tonight.
Where is that?
Gates. Yeah, Gates. Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Take Two drums. Where do you live? Where are you from? That you're getting? Oh, there you go. Kentucky.
Kentucky.
All right. Cool. All right. Yeah, how about that? Yeah, it rained today, but we don't have any crazy weather here.
Well, you're up there close to my daughter. She said that the high up there in Cape May was 76, and
Yeah.
that was really nice. That's
Yeah,
kind of
she's in Jersey again? All right.
yeah.
Is
She's
she living
yeah,
there?
Huh?
Is she living there? Did she move there?
Yeah, her husband's in the Coast.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And you actually liked it there, didn't you?
I love it. I love
It's
it.
nice. Yeah, it's really nice. And it's
great.
in New Jersey of all places, but it's nice.
I know garbage state. I've heard it before, but it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it is a
Cape
garbage state.
May is beautiful. Avalon,
is.
Stone Harbor,
And it's
Wild-
old school for sea resorts.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
When I
if you don't vacation in Martha's Vineyard, then you
Right.
vacation in Cape May.
Right.
Leon, when I was growing up from about 10 to 14, we didn't have the resources to vacation in Martha's Vineyard. So we would drive from Montreal down to Cape May and Sea Isle City. And we'd spend a couple of weeks there every summer from when I was, about 9 to about 14
Oh, wow.
Well,
every summer.
I really enjoyed Cape May. I did a couple of tours while I was there, but I mean, I'm sure you've seen the concrete ship that sunk at Cape May. Have you seen that?
I'm sure I did.
No.
Yeah. During World War II, some Einstein decided that we needed concrete ships. That didn't work out real well.
All right. 74
Okay.
today. Oh, he's in South Coast of British Columbia. 74 today. What's
Yeah,
the
we'll
next
get it.
one? What's the next? We'll keep you on for a story, and we'll get your.
Yeah, let's talk about something.
Let's do. Let's see. I have a couple Kurt Schlichters, dealing with all the winning, and what's the other one? Hold on. The other one I think is better. Dealing with all the Democrats are delusional. I like Kurt Schlichter a lot. I have a lot of his books. Here we go. Democrats are delusional. Kurt Schlichter is back in it. Well, we don't have to read that. On today's episode of Unredacted, I'm joined by my father-in-law and brother-in-law, and they catch me up on what happened in the world of sports ball. Did you see the hysterics over the weekend about the rumors that Trump is dead. Is that not crazy what they did? Saying that he's dead, and then you had that asshole Minnesota governor Tampon Tim, basically saying that to a crowd, saying, when you doom scroll and you don't get news, but you know what, we might get news. In other words, if news of Trump's death is real, then that's a good thing. He's a governor. He had children murdered, shot to death in a church like the week prior, and he's making comments like that on stage. What a douchebag. So it was a rumor that left wishes were true, that the left does. They make a story out of absolutely anything. Oh, let me see. Oh man, he put it into a lockdown. Damn it. Well, I don't think that's him. I think it's Town Hall. It was the whole story there. It was a rumor that the left wishes were true. They make a story out of absolutely anything. They're a party of conspiracy theorists. When they're not pushing conspiracy theories, the left is defending transgenderism and mocking prayer. That's exactly what they did during the last 2 weeks. They're godless and believe anyone who is religious is evil. Speaking of godless, the people of New York City are close to electing a communist as mayor. It's hard for me to care more about New York than New York does. Perhaps they will hit rock bottom and learn. Sorry, can't read anymore. You bastards. Son of a bitch. Yeah, well, you know what? They are delusional. They're stuck. They're stuck in their hatred for Trump. And like I said, the 80-20 thing is because they couldn't get any new people coming in because people were leaving their party if they saw what they were doing. So they're going after the lunatics, the wackos, the woke. The more radical, the better, because they think that's going to build their party up. But the more radical they bring in, the more the normies leave, and they're screwed. Now they're just stuck with the crazies, and that's what happened to them. So they have to be crazy. That's why they flew down to El Salvador to try to get back a man that was caught trafficking people. Who abused his wife physically twice, because at least we know that because she got protection orders, who was caught with drugs and with multiple rolls of $50 and $100 bills, right? I mean,
don't forget the soliciting minors for nudies.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Real prize.
But he's a gentleman.
Yeah, unbelievable.
He's a real prize, a real scholar.
Yeah, guys, do me a favor. If you haven't already, please do me a favor. And can you please hit that like button? It helps, believe it or not. Yeah, please hit that like button. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. So let's do one more. Yeah, this is great, too. All right, ready? Here we go. A liberal actually admitted something.
You mean a liberal told the truth?
A liberal writer, yes. So, and from slay.com. Liberal writer admits faking dishonest pro-transgender views out of fear, says, I'm ashamed. Now, what is that all about? Because the media was the only thing that made that whole transgender thing seem like it was a huge thing and it was a real thing, Otherwise, it was a fad that would have gone. But look at all the damage it did to people's lives. New York Times bestselling author Malcolm Gladwell has admitted he misled audiences on the issue of men competing in women's sports. In a new interview, Gladwell, who has been a staff writer for liberal outlet The New Yorker since 1996, now says he fully rejects the idea. On a recent episode of the Real Science of Sport podcast, Gladwell says he feels deep regret about the dishonest way he handled the panel he hosted at MIT's Sloan Sports Analytics Conference in 2022. If it were held today, he said the outcome would be entirely different. Quote, if we did a replay of that exact panel at the Sloan Conference this coming March, it runs in exactly the opposite direction, he said. And it would be, I suspect, near unanimity in the room that trans athletes have no place in the female category. But why did it take them so damn long to come clean with this? I don't think there's any question. Gladwell admitted he was dishonest during the 2022 event, which featured a trans athlete and a trans advocate, because he was cowed. Quote, I'm ashamed of my performance. And remember, fact checkers, this guy's a liberal writer here, liberal writer. He says, I'm ashamed of my performance at that panel because I share your position 100% and I was cowed. The idea of saying anything on this issue, I believe in retrospect, in a dishonest way, and I was objecting in a dishonest way. I let a lot of real howlers pass without comment. We don't have to read it anymore. So we have one guy who was, did we lose? Oh, we
I
lost
think
her.
we lost Leanne.
Oh, wow. Oh, she said, sorry, guys. I had to hop off. I'm having technical difficulties. Still, why? Oh, man, I'm sorry. Sorry that happened. Yeah.
Sorry we lost you, Leanne.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do we have here?
You like Kurt Schlichter? You want to read his Dems?
Yeah, I want to
Don't
read
Have
that
a
other
Prayer?
one. Dems don't have a prayer, but let's see. Is it? Yeah, it's full. Yay. Okay, I like him because I like him and John Nolte from Breitbart because they tell it like it is, and I like people that do that. So Dems don't have a prayer. The Democrats are going full dodgeball by deciding after their latest perverted weirdo constituent went on a mass murder spree of little Christian kids that they should take aim at the idea of prayer. Apparently, the big problem in the aftermath of yet another Dem-aligned killer is that we're turning to God and not to our Democrat betters. He's exactly right on that. That's why they were upset. That's why the mayor of Minneapolis, Frey, that's why he was upset because they weren't praising the Democrats created this kind of thing. They do this all the time. They create a problem. And then when it gets really bad, they come out and go, we're the only ones that can fix the problem. The guys that started it. We shouldn't be on our knees before the Lord. We should be on our knees before them, submitting, obeying, and accepting the divine right to rule of the No King's Clan. That bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them. It's unclear whether the Democrats are stupid and bigoted about Christians as well as observant Jews, whom they also despise as a matter of policy, or whether they are merely bigoted. Regardless, the outcome is the same. They will fire up their freak show base, but drive away the normals. The Democratic Party was born of largely faithful working class people, and it has morphed into a party of largely pagan professional managerial class swells who embrace a bizarre quasi-religious ideology that rejects God and embraces their SSRI-driven obsessions. Exactly. The drugs. Purposely or not, they misunderstand the purpose of prayer, which is to connect with God. The Lord is not a vending machine where you insert your prayer and you get the result you want. The misunderstanding, that was a great explanation. The misunderstanding is of a kind with the over-credentialed cretins who think that Christian salvation is based on a tally of good deeds, as if Jesus is there at the pearly gates with a clipboard checking off mitzvahs until you get enough of them, says, congratulations, welcome to heaven. Now, of course, this may be stray voltage, that is, an attempt to create a smaller imbroglio to distract from a larger one. It certainly looks organized. Various politicians and media hacks, including Gavin Newsom, that femboy Minneapolis mayor, Jen Psaki Longstocking, that's so funny, and Senator Tina, whatever his name is, plus others, all jumped on the how dare you pray bandwagon in a suspiciously coordinated manner. Perhaps they wanted to turn attention away from yet another trans freak deciding to murder normal people because he can't become a girl. Americans are getting sick of evil, mentally ill mutants who take out their frustrations. Fact checkers, I'm just reading. YouTube, I'm just reading. Frustrations with either having or not having a on innocent people. Paired with the prayer calumny, were the usual calls, or calumny, what is it? Calumny?
I think it's calumny.
Calumny, were the usual calls. I never went through that etymology. For the usual calls for common sense gun control, which there is no such thing. What America needs is common sense deviant control. Absolutely. Yeah. The problem for the Democratic Party is that most Americans are still people who believe in normal religions and not weird pagan superstitions like the climate hoax, systemic racism, and feminism. They are religions. These boutique beliefs may be ubiquitous in blue urban areas and pampered suburbs, but they just don't play with the normals, the people that make the country work. The people who run the Democratic Party no longer embrace Christianity nor even tolerate it. They actively dislike it, and the people who practice it, and they barely put up with it, even when practiced by groups that are still inside their shrinking tent. Pity the poor black church ladies who still believe that Jesus stuff. You can almost see their eyes roll back in the heads of the frigid white Chardonnay women who dominate the party when they encounter sincere belief. Black ladies of faith, the door is open to you at the Republican Party. Exactly. That's what they're saying. And guess what? They're coming over. God bless you. We're not going to mock you or laugh at you or treat you as if you're mental defectives who will vote as directed in exchange for a pat on the head, some DEI talk, and maybe a visit to your church where the ultimate tiresome white lady can tell you how she don't feel no ways tired. That was the funniest thing that I ever saw when Hillary did that. Remember, until the Democratic Party is finally gone with the wind, the wine women will always insist on being scarlet, and you will always be mammy, expected to submit and serve as an enabler and supporting player in their neurotic psychodramas. In the meantime, the Democrats have their own rituals and sacraments. Just the other day, the Democrat annual convention, they had some alleged Indian come up and give a land acknowledgement. Some people fast, some confess and do penance, and some listen to Elizabeth Warren's second cousin give them grief because Europeans conquered this continent, to which they nod in approval at their own hysterical abnegation. That's funny. Every time you order a glass of iced tea and it comes with a paper straw that degenerates into mush after the first couple of sips is true, you are participating in one of their rituals. It means nothing, but the sacrifice of both utility and the dignity that comes from a plastic straw is a secular sacrament. Oh, and they have heretics too. That would be us, the ones who don't believe that a woman can have a penis or that a man can get pregnant. We refuse to say the holy words that are their profound pronouns or their euphemisms like the unhoused for bums, junkies, and hobos. For these heresies, we must be driven from our employment, driven from society, and increasingly driven from this mortal coil by murderous perverts whose minds are twisted by sick leftist lies. While it certainly rallies their God-free communist caters, disrespecting prayer and people who pray is going to be a huge turnoff to everybody else. It's not clear they understand that, since they don't seem to know anybody who believes in God and assume anyone who does is a little bit insane. To them, believing in God is insane. Believing you were born the wrong gender is not. Isn't that tell it all right there, doesn't it? Note that this doesn't apply to any other religions. Those are wholesome. Those are good, except Christianity. It's just the ones that founded America that are bad, because, of course, everything about America is bad except them. It's not clear that the Republicans will necessarily benefit from this in the long run, though they probably will in the short run. In Europe, there are overtly Christian parties that are usually the parties of the right and are in opposition to the leftist parties. In the past, these parties were actually conservative, but like many of the mainline Protestant denominations in America, they've been infiltrated, overwhelmed, and assimilated into the Bolshevik Borg. The German Christian Democrats are just as ready to submit to foreign invasion as the Social Democrats. For this reason, while it might be tempting for the Republican Party to continue towards becoming the default party of religious people in America, that might not be a good either for the party or the religions. Look at the Republicans' parties in the red states. It says when it's the only game in town, people who should be Democrats come flooding into it and water it down in a gooey bowl of ideological tofu. That's where we get rhinos. While perhaps it will give us an edge in the short term, it is to our long-term advantage for both parties to welcome the religious. But that's not going to happen while the Democratic Party is controlled by a bunch of atheist pagans for whom ridiculous ideology is a substitute for meaningful faith. So pray for our country, even if that makes Gavin Newsom's teen social media gurus sad. He's right. He's right about all that crap. You can't be Christian in the United States anymore. They're going to trash you for it.
Yeah, I think it's in Seattle.
What's
Seattle?
that?
Seattle or Portland, you cannot have a religious gathering without having BLM riot
Antifa.
and
Yeah,
show up.
Antifa goes after them too a lot.
And Antifa.
Yeah, yeah,
They
go
show
after.
up.
Yeah, yeah, they do. They actually do.
And physically accost.
Yeah, yeah, it's unreal. And yet they say the J6ers were the violent ones, which means that all 71 million who voted for Trump in 2016 were all crazy.
Oh, they would
Who
like
wrote
to
what?
see
That. Hey, what's up, Linda? Good to see you. Who wrote that? That was Kurt Schlichter. Kurt Schlichter is he's a Trump surrogate, but he's a colonel in the army, and I believe he's full bird colonel. And what's called he's written a lot of books against the left, and a lot of them are very funny. But he also wrote a series on what's his name, Turnbull. It was what was the one called The People's Republic, which was a really cool story about there was a civil war between the left and the right in this country, and the People's Republic was mostly in California. And what he did, it was really brilliant. It was he was like I tweeted him one time, "Sir, you are a prophet," and I pointed to the book because he wrote about all the wokeness that came out like 4 years after he wrote that book. But it was a novel, but he did it where, like, for example, Kelly Turnbull was an agent for the he was an agent for the United States, which was the conservatives, right? And he had to sneak into the People's Republic to get some guy out, and who wanted to get out, but he couldn't because they locked it down and all. The communists locked it down, and so they go, and so he has someone with him who never was there either, but they know the person, so they could point him out. So they go into this restaurant, right, and everything is very depressing in the People's Republic. So they sit down, and the waitress comes over, and she's real angry. She goes, "What do you have?" And the kid that's with Kelly Turnbull says, "Can I have a menu? Can I see a menu?" And she looks at him. She goes, "What are you, a wise guy?" She goes, "He a little wise ass." And she walks off. She storms off. And the kid goes, "What? I just asked for a menu." And he goes, "Yeah, but in the People's Republic, they only have two things, coffee and eggs." And coffee, they don't even have an orange juice. They have coffee and eggs. And he goes, "And so when you ask for a menu," he goes, "you're offending them because you're supposed to have more things than what you have." So it was a book like that, and he was just brilliant. But he wound up writing like 6 books based on it, and I've read them all. They were all very good. So let's see if I can get another one here. Let me see, what else do we have? Oh, here's one. Let's watch this. Let me share the screen. She nailed it. Here we go.
Men menstruate. Any men who have a uterus could menstruate.
A man has an XY. I'm sorry, I'm being so rude. I apologize. You're incorrect because we're talking about anatomy, biology. Like if you were to have surgery, they need to know what sex you are. So women, that's what you read off.
And she's walking away.
This is very serious what's going on in America because they are indoctrinating students. They're indoctrinating students to go against their parents. And this is Marxism. This is socialism. I'm very familiar.
God bless her.
And I want everybody to educate themselves.
That's awesome.
That's
pretty awesome.
The really odd thing is that nobody really gave a shit.
I know.
Nobody gave a shit. You could dress the way you wanted. You could
You could do anything you wanted.
You could date who you wanted. You could even get married to whoever you wanted, as long as you didn't want to marry a dolphin.
Right. Or a building. There's a thing.
And
yeah, Transifa.
So, okay. So why do I care what the next guy does?
Exactly.
It's like drugs. You want to put that in your body? Great. That's up to you.
Yeah.
I personally don't. My only thing is if you
either.
try and sell it to grade school kids, I want you thrown in a deep hole and never come out.
Here's another good one. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. I mean, the thing is nobody cared.
Oh, that's
Nobody
right.
cared. You could dress
They
the way
didn't.
you want. You could date who you wanted. You could eat what you want. You want to be a vegetarian? Great, no problem. Nobody cares. But
Yeah, I always said you can live the way you want, but you can't try to shove it down my throat and say, I'm gay, I'm woke, whatever, and you have to accept me and you have to love me. I don't have to do jack. As
yeah,
long as I don't violate your civil rights and you don't violate mine, I don't have to love you. I don't have to have my tax dollars pay to do your sick, twisted, freak things.
Yeah, it's like if you want to be a vegetarian, great, but don't force it on me if I don't want to be a vegetarian.
Well, that's exactly what they do. If a conservative doesn't want to eat meat, he doesn't eat meat. If a liberal doesn't want to eat meat, he doesn't want you to eat meat either. Let me play this.
That's the thing.
I'll leave this right here, and y'all let me know what you think.
This guy's good.
Do you agree or disagree? Talk to me.
No, go on, MAGA. Tell us what made you so radical.
Over the last 10 years, there has been a few things that has radicalized me, but I'll focus on just one for now, and it's the treatment of Donald Trump. I'm old enough to remember when Donald Trump was considered a cultural icon. He went from real estate, media appearances, being a guest on talk shows, interviews, commercials, cameos in film and television, the WWE, The Apprentice, mentions of him in popular music, the list goes on. My DECA marketing teacher even used to play The Apprentice to his class. I'm positive he doesn't do that anymore. The moment that he came down that escalator in 2015 as a Republican, the script did a complete 180, and I watched that happen.
Yeah.
I saw the
We all did.
manipulation, the gaslighting, the spinning, the grandstanding immediately from the left. Democrats and the media are the literal reason why I started paying more attention to politics and gave my first ever vote to Donald Trump. Here's me
Nice.
actually talking about it in 2016.
Oh, wow.
People that I had actually grown up with cut me off. They branded me a racist, white supremacist, maggot, piece. Something about that flipped the switch in me. The name calling actually hurt at the time, but I wasn't watching out of context 10-second clips presented to me by an influencer or a TV show host. I was actually watching the uncut C-SPAN footage, looking at the statistics, and I was being told to not believe my lying eyes and ears.
Yep.
It's been 10 years now, and in the beginning, I felt like I was going crazy, but maybe that was the intended purpose, the intended outcome. So that was the tipping point for me back then. It was also things like this that
If you are white,
radicalized me.
this message is for you. If you're not white, well, say anyways, because it's not like white people don't colonize our spaces anyways. So whenever
Moron.
you do that and you get called a mayo monkey or a bleach demon or a snow roach, can somebody CC me on that email because I didn't get it and I'm very upset about it.
There's a lot of videos like this in different formats, and it's rhetoric that's explained away as anything but racism, all the way up to the university level.
Oh, yeah,
Behavior
she's
and
right.
dehumanizing rhetoric that has been made acceptable against white people. But even towards Christian conservatives in general, because the way the left treats Black conservatives is absolutely despicable.
It
But
is.
all of this is a conversation for a different video.
Yeah. She's right. What do you think?
Yeah, not much to say. I mean, yeah, how did you get radicalized? Same way
Yeah,
as
she
same
covered
way
it
as
all, didn't she?
same way as you and I got radicalized, Rich.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, a conservative is a liberal who's been mugged.
Yeah, well, yeah. But like I was just saying, nobody really cared.
That's true.
Nobody really cared.
That is absolutely true.
I live my life the way I live my life. You live your life the way you live your life.
Right. Exactly.
And you want to be a certain way, well, you can be whatever religion you want. And yeah, as long as you're not interfering with my basic rights, then I really don't care.
Right. Here's one from Benny Johnson.
Jeffrey Epstein saga with a monster revelation that makes President Trump the hero of the entire story. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson saying that Donald Trump was a undercover FBI informant to take down Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, he was.
This clip breaking right now.
And he's not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy for the women who've suffered these unspeakable harms. It's detestable to him. He and I have spoken about this as recently as 24 hours ago.
Now, this is also something that Congresswoman Nancy Mace has said recently in a tweet this week, that President Trump was an undercover FBI informant.
He
And
was.
what we
A lot of
know
people
from
were.
the lawyers that represent the Epstein victims was that President Trump was the #1 dude who worked with them. Trump helped the lawyers put Jeffrey Epstein.
I played that
behind
video of
bars.
the lawyer.
The only thing that
This
I
guy.
can
I played
say
this.
about President Trump is that he is the only person who, in 2009, when I served a lot of subpoenas on a lot of people, or at least gave notice to some pretty connected people that I wanted to talk to them, he is the only person who picked up the phone and said, "Let's just talk. I'll give you as much time as you want. I'll tell you what you need to know," and was very helpful in the information that he gave, and gave no indication whatsoever that he was involved in anything untoward whatsoever, but had good information that checked out and that helped us, and that we didn't have to take a deposition of him. That was in 2009? That was in 2009.
The way I read this is it absolutely makes President Trump the hero of the Epstein saga. Perhaps it explains why he gets so upset when people ask about it. And now they're just going to come clean about how Donald Trump was the person who actually fought to take down the pedophile. That's a wild story. They should just come out with this. The FBI should release the documents. They should just say, yep, it was actually President Trump the whole time.
Yeah. Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
That will always cause a firestorm. Let me see. What is it? Not to downplay the SA victims, but it's about way more than the PDF. Yeah, exactly. We know that. Yeah. I've invited Doc Rich to this channel. Did you really? Good on you, man. I like Doc Rich a lot. He does really good video. He does long form videos too, but he does really good. That's the black guy that played on the last that I had.
You want to talk about Jake Tapper?
Yeah.
He's always fun.
Yeah, he's Gales of ill-mannered laughter. Let's see. I call him Very Jake Tapper because you remember when Trump was talking about his show and he said, yeah, he goes, I don't call it fake news anymore. And the reporter went, really? He goes, no, you're very fake news. So I call him Very Jake Tapper. Here we go. Tapper just got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. The internet never forgets. There he is. As we all know, the propaganda media has turned gaslighting into an art form. But just when you think you've seen all their tricks, another doozy pops up. This time, Jake Tapper is back in the hot seat. He just reminded everyone why CNN is the gold standard of shamefully fake news. This is their game, and they play it every time. When the regime is targeting Trump, suddenly lawfare doesn't exist. No one is above the law, and we're just defending democracy. But the second the script flips and Trump starts taking down the regime, suddenly he's the villain. Weaponization is everywhere. And precious democracy is back on the chopping block. It is true. That's what they're doing. And they act like they never said the other side. You know, yeah, let's get out of here. Let's not talk about it, right? We saw the same act with Biden's health, right? For years, America had a so-called president who was wandering around like a confused zombie, shaking hands with ghosts and forgetting where he was and who he was. And the media not only ignored it and covered it up, but they also mocked anyone who dared question his mental state. He was cogent. Remember that? Remember Joe Scarborough? He was cogent. Biden 2.0, the most put together. Oh my God. I was like, you got to be kidding me. After the presidential debate, old Joe was so far gone that even the media couldn't fake it anymore. And suddenly Joe had to go. But they've never been held accountable for the fake news they peddled for 4 long years. They never will.
They're still doubling down on the original argument.
Oh, I know. Well, they are being held accountable. They're losing so much money because they're losing their audience that a lot of them are getting fired. But now that Trump's in the Oval Office, every word, every move, every cough is concerning. And now he's on his deathbed. Right. Do they really think the American people don't see the absurdity? This isn't journalism. It's pure regime-run propaganda. It's true. Who can forget when Jake Tapper seemed more concerned about getting the pronouns right of the trans guy? That was very recent. Who murdered 2 young children in a Catholic church than addressing the obvious epidemic of violence in the trans community. Yeah, here it is. Where do you hear this?
Of the puzzle as to who the shooter was. Minneapolis Star Tribune says, according to court records, because there's been some confusion about what the shooter's name was.
Yes.
Robin Westman's
Watch
mother
this.
applied to change her child's name in 2019. It was at one point Robert Paul Westman.
Correct.
But since she identifies as a female and wants her name to reflect that identification, was underage, it's now Robin West.
Now you got to understand something. I ended it. He actually stopped the segment because the guy called him a him. He stopped that segment to go through that explanation of the trans. That's unbelievable.
Why do I give a shit about the feelings for that piece of shit that was out to kill children?
Yeah, it's unreasonable. What's up, Jimmy? Jimmy from Philly's in the house, everyone.
Hey, Jimmy.
Yeah. Did you tell Reese what I told him? What I told you to tell him? Let me see. What else are we going to do? Oh,
This might be funny about towing the ice vehicle.
Towing the ice vehicle? Yeah. There you go. Yeah, this is pretty good.
This has got to be good.
Yeah, it is. Guy who went viral for illegally towing an ice vehicle just got wrecked by karma. That's him. Looks like an illegal, don't he?
Mm.
All right. Bobby Nunez, guilty. The 33-year-old tow truck driver from L.A. thought he was the main character in some TikTok comedy sketch. With his tow truck and zero brain cells firing, this dumbbell rolled up on an active ice operation and decided to hook up one of the SUVs with the lights flashing, keys in the ignition, and a locked firearm in the safe, and drove off laughing like a crazed hyena. And of course, because internet clout is the new currency of the left, he filmed the whole thing and posted it to TikTok for his followers. Dumbass. But here's the thing about karma. It never misses. Just 2 days later, the feds were knocking on Bobby's front door, and now he's facing up to 10 years in federal prison for theft of government property. And you know what? He'll be in there for endangering the lives of ICE agents, too, because he took their transportation away in a neighborhood that you know was going to get radical if it was a Democrat neighborhood for trying to execute search warrants, right? So 10 years in a federal prison for theft of government property. And Bobby's smug laugh track is now gone as he's been replaced by the moans and groans in his holding cell. That's funny. Turns out the feds tracked him down easily thanks to his viral video. And those TikTok likes bought him a one-way ticket to federal court and hopefully prison. California's acting district attorney posted the update on X. Arrested Bobby Nunez is now under arrest for brazenly towing an ICE vehicle. He is charged with theft of government property. Apparently, he thought it would be funny to interfere with our immigration enforcement operations. Now he can laugh behind bars while he faces justice. Nunez is looking at up to 10 years in federal prison. That's unreal.
That's funny. I mean, what did he think was going to happen?
I know. Think about it.
Really?
Yeah. Look at this.
Yeah, show the video.
It's supposed to be a video, but it's like freezing. Why is it freezing? Well, we can look at that one.
I mean, what did he think was going to happen?
Right.
What did he think was going to happen?
I don't know. He wasn't. That's the problem. He wasn't thinking.
Yeah, that's the problem right there.
All right, start crying, you little baby. All right,
I want to see that one.
I don't think that one's going to run.
Yeah.
Cat Turd, if you see it below, he wrote, give him the entire 10 years. Yeah, it's not going to run. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to start making examples of these people. They need to start understanding that just because you cheer on Democrats, that you don't have a get out of jail free card.
Right. Let me see. I got another one here.
Yeah, I never forget that, that they don't believe that anything they say or do should be taken against them. Everything they do is justified, but they would like to see half of this country either imprisoned or otherwise expelled from society.
Right.
Let me
play
that's
this
okay.
One. I got one.
That's okay.
I got Glenn Beck here, right? And he's on This is why Trump blew up the
So
drug
Donald
boat.
Trump is going after Venezuela for two reasons.
Literally shot out a boat, a drug carrying boat, and there's more where that came from.
One, drugs. Fentanyl and cocaine, much of it laced, much of it deadly, and it is being trafficked here in the United States by people.
I'm surprised the Democrats haven't gone the 20% on this yet, but give it 48 hours.
No, they have though. They have.
Oh,
There's
did
a
they
bunch of
really?
them- No, there's a bunch of them that came out and said, "Oh, you can't do that. That's a war crime." And these people, they're not enemy combatants. They're criminals. They need to be arrested and given.
So does
their
that
due
mean when the
process.
DEA goes? So does that mean when the DEA goes into another country to arrest someone that they're committing a war crime? These people are
Yeah, they want these.
They're not
They
serious.
said you can't do that to these people.
Sure you can.
They're criminals. They need to be arrested. They have to have their due process. You can't do that.
Nope. International. If they're in international waters heading to the United States and they have proof that these are the same people in the same boats that are delivering the poison to us, we have every right in the world to stop them.
Which,
The
by the
second
way,
one, I
they've
think-
been declared an invading terrorist organization.
Right.
This is the bigger reason of the two. Venezuela is not some backwater place. It's full of oil, and it is a staging ground now for Russia, China, and Iran. Hezbollah. It has some of the
Houthis.
worst people. It's a beachhead for those people who want to see the United States taken down.
Oh, Glenn, literally a beachhead. This is insane because I didn't even know a lot of this. We
He's
mentioned
his
this maybe
researcher.
A couple months ago, I actually dug through congressional testimony to get some of this information. Now, this is information the American public doesn't really know, but the government knows.
Okay.
So check this out. This is from congressional testimony. In 2011, Congress testified what Hugo Chavez was doing. Listen to this. Just the year before, in 2010, Hugo Chavez hosted something called the Secret Summit. Like literally. It was called the Secret Summit.
Okay.
Guess who showed up to Secret Summit? The supreme leader of Hamas, the chief of operations for Hezbollah, and the Secretary General of Palestinian Islamic Jihad.
I thought you were going to say Satan.
I might as well
Well, he
have.
did actually.
I mean, this is
And we
absolutely
didn't
nuts.
report on-
Might as well
nobody
have.
was talking about that. How can that happen right off our shore?
Glenn,
And nobody's talking about it.
Glenn, it gets so much worse than that, if you can.
Always
so
does.
Iranians right now with connections to Hezbollah are on an island off the coast of Venezuela. It's called Margarita Island.
That's unreal.
Jimmy Buffett would be nowhere near this Margarita Island. They
Nah.
are, quote, running money laundering operations, establishing paramilitary training centers. They are recruiting Venezuelan gangs, and listen to this, sending those people, this is like Tren de Agua, sending them to Iran for follow-on training. This is happening right now. Our government knows
Unreal.
about this. This is the only time I've actually seen them doing something concrete to combat it.
So Donald Trump is going after Venezuela for two reasons.
Literally shot out a
That's unreal. Yeah, we knew Venezuela was going to be a problem when the commies took over. We knew that. And it really is. Think about how many terror organizations they're funding.
Mhm.
Maduro is funding.
Oh yeah.
It's just
Yeah, and how many people he's basically created the pipeline to take the cartels, the criminals here importing fentanyl and other drugs. So yeah, blow the boat out of the water. All you
Yep.
get is this from me. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
That's all you get from me.
Yep.
Okay. We're almost there. You want to finish up on a high note? Trump on a comedy roll. Trump on a comedy roll.
What's that? Oh yeah.
Trump on a comedy
do
roll.
that. Yeah, I know. Trump while you were sleeping. Here we go. While you were sleeping, Trump was on a comedy roll that had the internet LOLing. While most of America was fast asleep, President Trump was wide awake and absolutely on fire. He spent the night dropping one hilarious meme after another on Truth Social, and the internet couldn't stop laughing. From laugh-out-loud takedowns of Gavin Newsom to classic pencil neck shift roasts and even some down-home Cracker Barrel laughs. He even took a victory lap with the Trump was right about everything meme. He wears that hat. 45 was serving up some classic stand-up comedy. But it wasn't just funny. It was Trump at his trolling best. That's what I love about him, his trolls. Like you'd expect, he's always confident and sharp, reminding everyone why he owns the internet like no other political leader in history. Here's a look at some of the memes that had his supporters LOLing all night. The pencil neck. Yeah, Gunther Eagleman. That guy is very popular, and he's very good, too, on X. Trump just posted this. Pencil neck is about to need a safe space. Look at
Anyone who stands up to the president, anyone who criticizes the president, anyone who says anything adverse to the president's interests gets the full weight of the federal government brought down on that.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Let's see. Cracker Barrel didn't stand.
Uncle Herschel sat back down again.
Yeah. There's Benny Johnson, President Trump's in the evening. Here you go. Look at this. Thin Trump. Yeah. Over Cracker Barrel. And he put that's awesome. You got to love that. He just walks off. There he is. That's awesome. Someone give Gavin.
When I said that I received in the mail a Trump 2028 hat from one of his biggest supporters. These guys are not screwing around.
It. Yeah, I laughed my ass off in that video when I because what a baby. They sent me a Trump 2028 hat.
Oh my
God.
The other thing they just recently did to troll the left was they said, geez, with all these trans criminal shooters that are shooting up schools and churches and whatnot, maybe we should declare transgenderism to be a mental illness, and that prevents them from ever, owning a gun, forever buying a gun.
Yeah.
So we're going to disqualify.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. And of course, they're going to say, Second Amendment. Like now they care about the Second Amendment. I can almost guarantee you, Dr. J, that's why they're pushing this, because he wants them to now defend the Second Amendment for transgenders.
And that's exactly what's happened.
Yeah. I guess that. Yeah.
The left has said, wait a minute, you can't do that. We have a right. Well, okay, we happen to agree with you. Unfortunately, there's a bunch of people on the left who are also, there's a bunch of conservatives who are also responding emotionally and saying, yeah, these people are sick and they're on drugs and they shouldn't have guns. And wait a minute, weren't you the guy last week that said that it's a Second Amendment is a God-given right, and that any registration is so it's really, but I mean, they're obviously not seriously considering that.
Oh, I know.
But
I gotta go ahead.
I mean, the man is the goat of trolling.
Oh, I forgot.
Okay, we got time for one more.
Well, I got a video I want to play.
Okay.
It's actually pretty good. Here we go. When truth becomes right wing.
Truth has become a right-wing concept. You cannot say it, because if you say it, you are considered right-wing. And to be right-wing is to be in league with the forces of evil. It is a Manichaean division between
this is good
ideologies of one kind or another, and those who don't subscribe to those ideologies. And the ideologies brook no dissent, because they represent, in the minds of people who promote them, they represent goodness, brotherhood of man, progress, reason.
Turn it up. I can't.
Education.
Hold on. Let me see.
And anyone who opposes them is against all good things. So they are not just wrong. They're not people to be argued with. They're people to be removed and silenced, because otherwise you're against all good things. So it's that division between good and evil. And unfortunately, if you stand up against an ideology like, I don't know, so-called anti-racism, which basically says all white people are bad.
Critical theory.
Or critical theory. Or you stand up and say a woman is defined by her biology. You're against transgender. So as you know, there's no discussion. You are cancelled. You are removed. You have to be silenced. This dissent cannot be permitted. So we're in what a thinker of a previous age called cultural totalitarianism. No alternative is to be permitted. Now, first of all, that is an assault on individual freedom of expression and freedom, but it's also a complete repudiation of reason. Because if you say there is nothing that you can say that can dissent from my ideology, and you say you're bringing evidence to oppose me, well, that cannot be the case. If you're denying evidence and reality and thinking and engagement with an idea, then you're denying reason itself. And so the irony is that in an age of supposed reason, we're so rational that we've dispensed with religion.
All right.
Only idiots have any kind of religious sense because
she's right.
It's not based on reason. That's the thinking. So we're so rational, we've got rid of religion, and yet we are repudiating rationality completely.
Yep.
This is something that doesn't quite add up.
What's up, Dawn?
So I would say that we are in a new age of unreason. That's what we're in. An age of unreason. That's what we've unleashed.
Yep.
And it's an irony because we've done it under the aegis of being rational. But in getting rid of religion, we have unleashed an age of unreason. And what follows from that is the erosion of freedom to think, freedom to speak, freedom to act, and a complete confusion about where the limit should be drawn between what I want and what others need. My duty to others and my wish to realize my own potential. In other words, it's I versus we.
Right.
And all those things. And the confusion is epic. But that's where we are. But again, we have no cultural leaders, religious, political, whatever, standing up saying this. And I'm sure, I may be naive, but I'm pretty sure that what I'm saying may not be thought about in these terms by many people. But I'm pretty sure that if enough leaders got up and said this, it would start striking chords because people need to live in a society which is civilized, which looks after the welfare of others rather than yourself. We all know this. But we've kind of allowed ourselves collectively to ignore it and push it to one side. It requires leadership. We don't have it. That's the problem.
She's right. There
Dawn,
is no
what
leadership.
do you mean by horrid woman?
Yeah. What did you mean, Dawn? I don't know who she is, but I agree with what she said. I don't know. Maybe she is a hard woman. But
Maybe
she
this
got
is
it right.
sarcastic. I don't know. What did you mean?
Yeah, or maybe a broken clock is right twice a day anyway. So I don't know. I never saw her before, but I had it sent to me. Yeah, so I don't know.
Do you want to do one more while we're waiting for Dawn?
Yeah, we could do one more. Let's see. Trump ordered the Pentagon to deter Russia, China, Hegseth. Hold on. Well, let's do. Well, here's one for our Canadian friends. Okay, this woman is awesome, by the way. Let me do this. Let me bring this up. Here we go.
Oh, okay. Dawn said I've got her mixed up with another person.
Oh, okay. No sound.
Canada's officially the dumbest fucking country on the planet, and so are most of the Canadians that voted for this. I'm not even kidding. You guys are so dumb that you don't even realize the police chief is trying to tell you right now to lose all ability for your survival skills. That's the PSYOPs. So if you don't know what's going on, we had a guy break into a home in Welland, Ontario, and rape a 5-year-old child. He essayed a 5-year-old child while the parents were sleeping. And you want to know what's happened to him? Nothing. He's out on bail. Why? Because Canada loves rapists and criminals just like their entire fucking government. And the people that voted for this are so stupid. You actually deserve this. I hope your homes get doxxed so that these foreign criminals can come in, bend you over, just like the government did in 2020 when you complied for this, you little lab rats. And then you call the fucking government on your neighbors and your friends and everything because you're so stupid. If you don't know what's going on, there's been a bunch of gun crime, illegal gun crime, because you took away gun ownership, and by illegals who are now going into homes in Ontario and literally taking whatever they want. And you want to know what the police chief said? He said comply. He said Canadians should comply, and if you don't, we failed as a community. Just listen to this piece of fucking shit and what he says.
But as it stands, we know the best defense for most people is to comply, as you've just heard a number of
just comply, you guys.
recommendations will allow for those that are victimizing members in the community to leave and not
They'll just leave.
harm anyone.
Why didn't we think of that?
That's like a police
Sometimes
chief.
can fall on deaf ears when members feel like they have to take matters into their own hands. And the only thing I'd say is, if we are going to rely on our community members to take matters into their own hands to solve this problem, we have all failed our community.
Yeah, you dummy Canadian pieces of shit, comply. You're so racist. If you fight back, you're racist. Ew. Dear women in Toronto who have been getting raped, comply, you dumb bitches. Comply. This is what you voted for. You love this. Equal
She has a very interesting delivery.
rights for everybody, right? You guys, if somebody comes into your home, comply like you did in 2020. If they try and rape your children, comply. You know, get the camera out, have a little fun with it. You're Canadian. You don't deserve to live. You don't deserve to actually like fight back. You're just a piece of shit that the government uses as punching bags and tax slaves so that they can keep funding the tax laundering money in the Ukraine. Comply, you stupid fucks. That's what the government is telling you. That is the psyops. And I swear, all of the 70% that fucking like did this are going to listen to this exact same thing because you're dumb and you're stupid and you deserve it. Canada's a
Unreal.
And man,
wow,
it's amazing. Yeah, all you can do is comply. In case anybody's wondering, I don't. It's not quite as bad as in Great Britain, but basically it's almost there. Canada has made illegal anything you can use for defense. You may not use any kind of weapon, and anything that looks like a weapon is probably illegal. Pepper spray is illegal in Canada. Butterfly knives are illegal in Canada, which is like really weird. Butterfly knives are they're just like fucking useless.
And in blue cities in America as well. But go ahead.
Pepper spray, things like Kubatons or brass knuckles, illegal. Stun guns, any kind of taser type thing, non-lethal, by the way, like the pepper spray, something that a woman could use. Where I don't know, I've heard that in most places in the U.S., if you pepper spray somebody, if a woman pepper sprays a would-be attacker, and the cops come up and she says, "Oh yeah, he was, 6'2" black guy," the call will go in that they're looking for a 5'2" Chinese guy.
Yeah,
because they don't care if she got him in the face. They're not gonna. I probably said that backwards. I probably said that backwards. Yeah, if the guy complains about it, they're not going to look for the girl. He'll say, "Yeah, this woman sprayed me in the face, and she was, 5'6" black lady," and they're going to say that it was a 5'1" white lady who went in the other direction.
Well, that happened here in I think it was the 1980s when you had some black organization, NAACP and several others, that were saying that white people were so racist that when a white person mugged them, they would tell the police they were black. Okay. And they really believe that, right? And I just sat there and questioned it, saying, wait a minute. So someone mugs you and takes $100 out of your wallet and beats the shit out of you. And he was a white guy. You don't want the cops to find that guy, get your money back, and bring him to justice. You're so freaking racist. You're going to blame a black person. You're so Jussie Smollett in that moment that you're going to give it up and go, no, it was a black guy. Oh, yeah, definitely a black guy. Bullshit. It's not going to happen.
Oh.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Can you please hit the like button if you haven't already? Next week, bring your friends. Listen, big announcement. Next Friday, we're going to have Courage is the Cure's host from Australia. Her name is Robin Jackson Stegner. I've been on her show. She was also on 42 show, and we're going to have her next Friday night for as long as she wants to talk. But she's always so booked. She's probably got other stuff to do an hour later, but she can stay the whole 3 if she wants, as far as I'm concerned. And if you guys don't know who she is, she's very hardworking, by the way. I was on her show, Relentless, and so she runs Courage is the Cure. Her whole thing is for free speech. Her I think the motto, I looked at her channel and I read a lot about her. It is fear is the virus, courage is the cure. And basically she's saying all it takes is like one person to stand up and say something. All right. So she's real good, and I can't wait to have her next week. So I've been promoting her this week.
That's what happened on November 5th.
Yeah.
That's what happened on November 5th, because I think the biggest problem in this country, or one of the biggest problems, or one of the biggest advantages that the Democrats were using, is that conservatives, we all thought we were alone.
Right. Yeah, that is true. You're absolutely right.
I was alone, or my family is the only one.
Yeah, nobody else thinks the way I do, man. I feel weird, you know.
And all of a sudden, we had 71 million people out there.
Good comments tonight. I'm listening.
Yeah, we had 71 million people out there vote the same way as we did. So yeah, that's one of the biggest things that happened on November the 5th, is that everybody realized that, wait a minute.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. It's been great. Had a good time. Yeah, love the comments tonight. Keep it going.
Yeah, tonight was really good, man. You guys had it going. So that's really good.
going.
Thank you. Thank you. I had a really good time. I hope you guys did. You could go anywhere. You spend your Friday nights with us. We love you for it. Next week, bring a friend, please, or two.
Bring two.
Don't tell me you beautiful people don't have friends that you can bring in. You have to.
And I hope the totally spontaneous Dr. Jade moment was acceptable.
Yes.
So
it was totally spontaneous. Yeah.
It was totally spontaneous.
It was. It was right off the cuff. We didn't even talk about it. Well, she never tells me anyway.
I have
no idea.
I'm not going to tell him.
All right, guys, we are out of here. Thank you. God bless. Have a really good weekend. Talk to you guys later. He's a weirdo. See you, man.